It is to our understanding that many older religions are particularly susceptible to deviations from established canon, regardless of significance. Through the use of rumors and embellishments, entire offshoots are often created. On Arrakis, a similar observation was made when one Fremen naive began a campaign to push out Bene Gesserit influences from his tribe. The suggestion that this leader was possessed aligned with previously held spiritual beliefs inherited from the Zensun wanderers and was sufficient to fuel challengers to their rule, leading to their eventual demise. Let it be known that these divergences in belief can be used to divide and diminish those who oppose our guidance. Observations on the strategic divergences of religious canon, Missionaria Protectiva Archives. Welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. This is season 4 of our Dune campaign here on the Stolen channel. I am Eric at Modern Recluse Online, your games master for this epic multi-arc adventure series, which continues tonight with our latest storyline, Judge of the Change. A warm welcome and salutation to everybody, old and new viewers alike, to Stolen Fires here on Twitch, where there's always an awesome TTRPG live play to look forward to. As a content warning, this program does feature adult situations and language and may not be suitable for all ages, so viewer discretion is advised. In the way of announcements, at the top of our show, we wanted to bring attention to the terrible plight facing the Palestinian people in Gaza right now. Leading this effort online is the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, or USCPR. Head on over to uscpr.org and use the resources there to contact representatives in order to call for a complete ceasefire. Share the link on social media and help message in an effort to get others involved in the struggle. Donate what you can to a network of activists and organizations who are committed to freedom, justice, and equality for the Palestinian people. Educate, organize, and advocate for Palestinian rights today. Again, that's uscpr.org for the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. In the way of music attributions, we have shout outs to Pixabay, Scott Buckley, Coag Music, that's co.ag, Tabletop Audio, and Lear Moon. You can find more tunes and sounds over at secretpress.bandcamp.com, scottbuckley.com.au, and pixabay.com/music. Many thanks to Modifius Entertainment for making awesome games like Dune Adventures in the Imperium for us to play, and thank you to Roll20 for the use of their virtual tabletop platform, perfect for hosting games just like this one. And as always, we want to give a big thanks to our viewers and fans for tuning in. Our house entourage is here and ready to engage in the deadliest of intrigues. Agents of the Imperium, tell our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Beginning with Aaron.
Hello, everyone. I am Aaron, or Cthulhu, as you prefer. My pronouns are she, they, they. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Great Cthulhu, except Twitter. I don't live there anymore. Fuck that place. So I will be playing Eloise Spicciare tonight. I have not changed my name in Zoom either. I will do that now.
Leo. Leo.
Yep, sorry, I was on mute. Hello, my name is Leo. You can find me here at Leo of the Black, and today I'll be playing General Archibald.
Ever?
Hey everybody, it's me, your favorite neighborhood changeling. My pronouns are any, and my name is Ever. Tonight I will be playing Zoshir Tamara, whose pronouns are he, him.
And last but not least, of course, Rachel.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I'm Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere, which you probably knew because that's why you're here. And I will be playing Lady Daphne. We are both she, her.
And we will be joined later on in the broadcast by a sort of sullied Devin. In the meantime, we have a recap. If you don't mind, doing the honors, Aaron.
Happily. The drama begins again as Myrma and the Sadakar are clearly ready and willing to kill, so they might escape. And Fremen are willing to take their water. Zoshir launches himself at the Sadakar, but she's too well trained. She reverses his grip, slashing open his still suit and cutting him. The sight of their bleeding Mahdi enrages the other Fremen as she throws Nelia across the room. Gleefully, Shiri claims that honor before tending to her beloved. But Nelia is dead. Zoshir has Merlat, and with some of his face dancers, chase her into the Imperial Basin. Zoshir's wounds are tended as he contemplates the need for a new advisor, someone who can scheme and play politics in a way he was never brought up to do. Hasak takes his leave, having gained some respect for the warrior. He'll likely not speak for him as Naib of Naibs, but probably won't speak against him. Just outside the Imperium, Archibald had been taken prisoner by spacefarers wearing strange yet Butlerian-compliant technology. The leader speaks with a posh accent, saying to bring them to the longbow. As soon as Archibald speaks up, he finds her holding a Mala pistol under his jaw, demanding to know what the Allfather wanted with him. He claims to be a great military mind, that the force he brought with him are his soldiers. She clearly doesn't believe him, and Archibald must speak fast to prove his claims. On the larger ship, there's clearly some organization here, judging by the uniforms. The woman is addressed by others as Captain Inessa, as she leads Archibald to a decontamination unit. He tries to flirt when she demands he strip, but it's clear this is a decontamination unit. It's similar to when Alicia used an Ixian probe on him, and he's in excruciating agony for an hour as he's purged of nanites. When it's all over, Captain Nessa returns his clothes and interrogates him. She's clearly at war with the Allfather, and Archibald is haunted by perhaps this is all part of the machine intelligence's plans, that he was allowed to leave. But they have no choice but to trust. In the heart of the Imperium, Norma tracks her Bene Gesserit spy out of Arakeen into somewhere called the Catch Tube Cantina. It's closed, but she shimmies through vents and spies on the conversation between the three women. They anticipate something, and when one woman leaves, the conversation continues. Kyra shared everything with Longinus, and the cult growing on Arrakis must be eradicated. She speaks of a sandworm with a human face, a terrible face that promises an end to the Imperium. This was Kyra's agenda all along. The older woman commands silence and clearly does not believe her. She must depart for Wallach as soon as possible after resting a bit. After waiting, Norma slips into the older Bene Gesserit's quarters to find her writing a report using coded dots. She gets the drop and prevails in combat, then reads the report. As expected, it's a spy report on what House Cheshire and Atreides have been up to. Norma sneaks into the other one's room and kills her, but not before she can send up a beacon. Norma decides it's time to leave. Nadim arrives on Arrakis and makes contact with Radisa, a leader of the Lupos crime syndicate in Arakeen. He delivers the proposal via Shiga wire, handed off to a servant. It's dangerous, but profitable. Nadim and Radisa share a drink. The servant interrupts them and assassinates Radisa, then advances on Nadim, her face fluttering. Nadim barely has time to activate his personal shield and has to do some fast talking to convince the face dancer not to kill him. It helps he can speak of the allegiance to the Prophet in Twilaxu. Well, it's good the Prophet is now on Arrakis. Nadim is half prisoner, half ally as they fly to the deep desert. No, to Carthag. The Twi'lek seems to believe allies might be found there. Speaking of Carthag, Daphne invites Mossam to have an adult conversation with her. She offers him the Ayasi inheritance. They're both Kyra's children, after all. Mossam seems conflicted, his disdain for politics clearly guiding his choice. But then Daphne pivots to Shaddam and gently prods Mossam about how he feels about his father ruling the whole Imperium. He dislikes his father's methods, but worries over his half-sisters by him. Daphne, knowing the Bene Gesserit protect their own, promises to do so as much as she can protect them. She doesn't reveal the details of the Atreides' plan, but it's clear what may happen next. Mossam agrees. The Tiberii greet them upon landing and bring news. Daphne's upset to hear of Nelia's death, along with word of Myrma's duplicity. But when they say that Zoshir is Harkonnen, she only laughs. That's clearly a clumsy rumor designed to hurt his credibility. She refuses to believe it. But Hajan cuts in. They have a prisoner, a Harkonnen captive. Daphne goes to meet with him. He looks to be in his 40s with a red beard and a barrel chest. A face dancer stands near him. Daphne's intrigued and questions him a bit. The Fremen was carrying out the master's business when he came across an unexpected Harkonnen. She's curious what a left-behind Harkonnen might want on Arrakis, and is even more intrigued to learn he just arrived. On a bit of an impulse, she asks if he has any rogue cousins on the planet. No, none that he's aware of. She brings up Pardo Reed, but as a new arrival, he has no knowledge of the deceased Cheshire Mentat. He's here to depose Baron Vladimir. Well, that's interesting, and potentially a plan Daphne can get behind. As they talk, the face dancer cuts in and shows the cryst knife they took from Nadim. When Daphne asks how he got it, he says, the usual way. Looking at her own cryst knife, Daphne asks if it was a gift from his betrothed. No, he says, he won it in a duel. Some Fremen, a name unfamiliar to Daphne, but the faced answer lets slip that Daphne is the prophet's daughter. Using her Bene Gesserit training, Daphne studies this man. He doesn't seem to be lying. Well, his ambitions are true. He could be a useful ally to cultivate. When Norma pricks him with a needle, he's understandably offended, and Daphne, wishing the diplomatic relationship gets started on the right foot, has the needle destroyed and apologizes for her overeager advisor. What to do with him now? Daphne's mildly inclined to have him sent to Sihaya Tabir just to see what might happen, but they'd kill him if he went there. In that case, he can stay here as a honored guest. Daphne decides to trust his ambition, but does send word to the Siege that she'll be there to see Soshir soon. Nadim decides to return to Arakeen, where he retrieves his pilot and takes up some public residences. While this has been going on, it's time to see what's going on at Jabberwock. Omelis has returned to his traditional robes and drinking his sappho juice. It's time for a small house meeting. Varys and Beatrice are both here, Beatrice reviewing old hollow images of Alicia in an attempt to figure out who she is. Eloise speaks bluntly. It's a disaster here on Jabberwock. Omelis has serious concerns regarding Yeva and other elements on the planet. She hasn't quite begun her scheming yet, or at least not anything Omelis can detect. Which is the problem. She's been social, but Eloise isn't scared of whatever she might be planning from that position. Her plan is to find the dirtiest nobles and give them a messy public execution. She doesn't care what else they get up to as long as they don't cross her. Omelis checks that Eloise wants to cultivate a ruthless reputation. That brings Eloise a bit from the back, but she still asserts that the people of this planet owes her their lives. She presents her plan: find orphans and bring them into her fold. She'll build up her house using that tactic. This seems to please Beatrice, who speaks of her desire to meet her sister. Eloise will facilitate that, but makes it clear that there's a place for her on Jabberwock. Eloise offers to share her family records, and Beatrice is happy to receive that. But Omelis brings up one more issue: the White Rabbits. They demand to know what happened to him. Eloise says the truth. He unleashed Alicia on the house, and then exiled himself to Two-Pile. She has a letter as proof. Later that night, the White Rabbits and elite of Jabberwock are in the same ballroom, both curious as to why they've been brought together. Eloise is direct. Yeva no longer has power here, and Archibald is in exile. She reads his letter to the assembled. The White Rabbits seem shocked, and Eloise offers to arrange for them to travel to be with him if they wish. Some of them seem interested, but the nobles want to know what will become of them. Eloise turns the question back on them, shaming them. We've had to sell off our own cats. They leave in a huff, swearing to bring this up before the Sisselrod, when Eloise promises to arrange passage for the White Rabbits who want to join Archibald. At the very end of the evening, someone passes Lady Eloise a coded note, and Eloise indicates to Amira, that one, of the most obnoxious nobles. At the end of the party, it's just her and Varys. She lets her mask drop. She's so tired of these people. Varys offers assistance, and Eloise asks him to keep an eye out for assassins. And she asks for Omelis to send for a Suk doctor as soon as possible. And then Eloise reads the message sent to her. It's the code to the House Atomics on the moon.
Excellent. Thank you for reading that, Aaron, and thank you, as always, to Rachel for taking excellent notes. We can begin with Judge of the Change. I think we're going to start this time on Arrakis. I think having just recently heard that there was an assassination attempt in which Zoshir, the Mahdi, was injured, what does Daphne do about this? Is she leaving in a rush to go to Sihaya Tabir, or will she send like a delegate in her stead, like Norma or somebody like that?
Anything to not have to stay in Carthag. So let's go.
Perfect. So I can rope two of you into the scene.
Mawsum is welcome if he wants to come. Norma is welcome if she wants to come.
Norma's always somewhere lurking in the background, or always the phone call away, probably through the communinet.
Yeah, I mean, we can decide when.
Yeah, Mawsum is still a little haunted about Kyra's recent passing, and he just doesn't seem to have the courage at the moment to go and pay respects. Although that is primarily one of the reasons why he came back from Kaitane, is because he heard about what happened. Do you try to like cajole him to join you on the trip, or do you try to like just keep it as a thing with more
Um,
focused on Zoshir's well-being?
I think no, she doesn't want to cajole him. She always wants him to feel like he has as much agency as possible. So the most she would like ask is like, "Are you sure?" Yes, I'm sure. Okay, well, be safe, be careful,
Yeah.
and probably would then. Uh, I guess Norma can go wherever she wants. Either stay here to keep an eye on Mossum or come with Daphne.
But there's also a logistical reason that you anticipate might be the why he's declining to go. You remember that he has a Sardaukar contingent watching his every move while he's in.
Oh yeah, fuck that. We're not
Carthage.
revealing the location of the siege to them.
Right.
And
So
in fact, now that I think about it, every time we go to or from the siege, we're taking a different route.
that's a good idea. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So you make a stop off over here and somewhere in the Imperial Basin, and then you take off again.
Yeah.
Sure. Cover your tracks a little bit that way. Okay. Good. All right. So Daphne is taking off via Ornithopter to Sahaya Tafir. Meanwhile, Zashir is left with the aftermath of what occurred since Nelia's death and the taking of the captured Sardakar's water. This siege, it's only been maybe 24 hours since the incidents where Myrma had escaped and unleashed your Sardaukar captive on you and of the your guests from another siege. And it feels like no one lives here anymore. It feels like this place is a tomb, ghost, a trap for ghosts. It's eerily quiet. Um, you know that a lot of people are whispering amongst each other regarding everything that's happened. You have no doubts that there will be challenges to your command over the siege over this. Maybe not necessarily the death of Nelia, but definitely the challenge that was sort of issued when Hasaka and his people came to your water in the middle of the night, despite his, you know, uh, his assertions that this was not done on purpose. Merlot certainly doesn't believe it, and many in Siege don't either. What you believe, of course, is your own business. Uh, but there's obvious concern on your face dancer advisor's face when he comes to see you, um, just to regularly to give you reports and news and things. You're thinking about the events that happened in the last 24 hours, and Nelia's face keeps coming to the forefront of your mind, and how she took the blade for you, the one that was meant to kill you. The curtain parts, and Merlot is standing there like an apparition just appearing. And he brings you something that seems to be like some folded up spice fabric paper. Some very strange looking illustrations on them. Madi, he says, when he lays the images before you. I'm sorry to bother you, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. It seems that Myrma had been looking into a particular siege, one that was said to practice heretical beliefs. I don't think Hasak's arrival with his tribe was a coincidence. I mean, he kind of like lays it out for you. You kind of like you stare at these illustrations that she had apparently made. These are studies. Like, it looks like she was researching something in secret, it seems. Although him and his face dancers were able to locate it. These illustrations show a worm, standard Shai Hulud, you know. But when you look closely, where the teeth would be, there's a face, a human face. What do you say? How do you respond?
So Shir will study the this thing for a second, really take it in, kind of try and melt it into his brain. What is this thing?
I've asked around the siege. This was something, a belief that was held by a siege at Haga Siet, located near the Haga Basin, just north of, or near, the Imperial Basin. He's like, this was in a tribe that was wiped out decades ago by Hasak's own people. When it was discovered that they believed the Mahdi to be some sort of human worm hybrid, they declared the entire siege and all of its inhabitants as heretics, and they rallied support from the other tribes to eliminate them. It seems Murma, for whatever reason, was asking for records regarding the siege, and he points to the illustrations, was obsessed with this image.
We ought to look more into this. For now, we must find someone who knows a bit more. If possible, if anyone is still around who does.
Perhaps we can ask one of the other Sayadinas and one of the other sieges. The council that is to be taking place on Siege Tabir soon, Stilgar Siege. Perhaps that convocation will prove an opportunity to learn about this. It's like her whereabouts as of this moment are still unknown. And it's like, but we don't believe that she's left Arrakis yet. Although she was seen heading towards the Imperial Basin, it's possible she may be hiding in one of the two cities, or in one of the many towns within the Imperial Basin. Speaking of which, one of my agents has reported to us recently, within the last 24 hours. It seems that word of this incident has spread, and we have received a communique from your allies within Carthag. They will be sending an ornithopter here within the next few hours. What should we do with regards to receiving them?
Who is the ornithopter? Do you know?
No names were given over a communique, but some sort of representative, perhaps, from House Cheshire.
If it is the Duchess Daphne, welcome her. She's one of our own.
And if it is not?
We shall see. If it is the Sayadina, they once had Norma, is now a Conki, I believe. She is to be welcomed as well. The rest depends on who they are.
We will take it on a case-by-case basis then, Zashir. As you will. And it's like, if there's anything else that you need us to do, let me know. We have taken the Sardakar's water, and we have disposed of everything else. It was admittingly strange that this creature of the Emperor decided to fight the way that she did. Most
What do you
people
mean?
under captivity would try to flee or send word for rescue. You see what he's trying to imply here.
An assassin?
He's implying that Murma used the Sardaukar to get rid of you, or to put, at the very least, to put a buffer zone between herself and the rest of the tribe as she tried to escape. How to do that to a Sadakar, a zealot of the Emperor, is no small feat. However, since Myrma being a Bene Gesserit, a Reverend Mother, she may possess the tools to do so. That of the voice, of course. It's like, what should we do
Perhaps
if we find her? Do we want to retrieve her and bring her back here to face Fremen justice? Or do we take her water? Knowing, of course, the implications of what she carries, or the knowledge that she carries about you. If we were to get off world, this could prove very problematic.
truth be told, at this point, should the word spread, so be it. Seems as if the prophecy will fulfill itself regardless of my opinions. I would prefer just her water being taken out of what she did.
Understood?
Many more could have died.
It's like, I leave you to your peace, he says. He turns swiftly, turns around and leaves. Standing there as he parts the curtain is Shiri, and he kind of stops, like checks her, and then kind of like looks back at you, and just to, in a wordless display of like asking for permission to enter. Like, should I let her in or should I tell her to get lost?
So sure will nod.
Merlat steps aside, and Shiri comes in and kind of like prostrates herself before you. Just kind of drops on her knees and brings out her christening. I have failed you, she says, and then offers you the blade. Merlat quietly disappears from the room.
He's like, awkward. What makes you think that you failed me?
She stoically holds back tears for her beloved because she took the blow that was intended for you. And we failed to protect you a second time.
No.
She looks at you with these eyes that say, that are almost surprised that you would spare her failure. She's like, I haven't taken any longer, Madi. I failed you, and I failed Nelia. My water is useless to this tribe. You deserve better protection, she says.
Look, I feel the same way that you do, honestly, of myself.
She doesn't
I feel
say
that
anything. She just looks at you.
I feel that I failed you, and I failed Nelia.
So this loss weighs heavily on both of us, our consciousness then.
It does. Should I hand you my crysknife?
No, I am undeserving of that honor.
During this time, we'll need as many from our siege and the other sieges. There's a lot coming our way. We're going to need everyone.
Unity before self.
Right.
She knows that a crysknife cannot be brandished without the spilling of blood. So she removes her glove and slices her hand and immediately applies like a patch to soak up the moisture. Thank you for your mercy, Muddy. Command what you will of me, and I'll carry it out.
Can I be honest with you for a moment?
She looks up with these eyes that say, you mean, like almost questioning, like, you mean you haven't been honest? Go ahead.
I feel that to let anyone live at this point is not a mercy. It is merely more torture. So I apologize.
Thank you, Mighty. Means your words mean much to me, he says. She kind of, you can tell that she's like stuffing something down. There's something that rises when she talks to you, when she tries to meet your gaze and fails to do so. And it's just under the surface. It's like a whirlwind that hasn't been exposed yet. But it's just there under the surface. And she holds it down, and she doesn't meet your eye. She meets your eyes very briefly and says thank you before she turns and bows and leaves.
Don't have to roll to notice that?
Nah, I'll just give it to you.
Wait. There's something on your mind.
I suspect it's the same thing that it's on your mind and the minds of everyone in the siege.
Please feel free to elaborate.
There have been whispers in these halls, not of your heritage. It's like most people don't know, like myself, don't believe that. Obviously, she's not in the know. Elliot didn't tell her. Those absurd claims, no one believes them, but it's the other part. That you challenged Kyra and took her place. Is it true? Be careful what you say now.
Yeah. It is very complicated what happened. But what happened was prophesied.
Are you saying these words to kind of assuage her? Or what is the intended effect here for her?
Changeling words. Essentially, he's beginning to be kind of cynical about his future. That all of these things are going to happen no matter what he says, but he also needs to be mindful that what he's doing is to try and help his people. So in a way, he kind of caters to the prophecy, kind of tries to enforce it happening, but he also feels swept away by it at this point.
Exactly how I was hoping it would be portrayed. Okay, so you kind of like smooth that over a little bit. You're just vague enough to her that it's in the prophecies. It's Tyra saw it happen. She knew it would come to pass, and here it is. And she's like, I don't pretend to understand what the master saw in the future, all the different things that could be or that have been. But we all trust you, Zoshir, with our lives. It is everyone's hope that this trust is not wasted.
I feel the same. And I appreciate that trust.
She makes like a gesture, like our waters have mingled and they are now clean. She kind of makes that gesture, and because there's this gulf of silence in between the both of you after you say that, and she just sort of excuses herself politely, and you're left with your thoughts for the next few hours until
And
you
there are many
receive-
thoughts.
and there are many thoughts. You receive a summons a little bit later on, just an indication rather, that an ornithopter from Carthage has arrived. How would you like to proceed? It is Daphne, which they identify as who emerges from the thopter, not a face dancer.
Not a face dancer, he says.
Face dancer would know.
So Zoshir will instruct his people to greet Daphne as, someone of high status within the siege, because she is a Sayadina and she is the Duchess and she is his betrothed.
Yeah. Okay. You are led inside, Daphne, and you're starting to become very familiar with this place. And as you walk here, it's like dozens of voices speak to you all at once in whispers. You hear Kyra's voice as well in that menagerie. They say different things. Lisan al-Ghaib. The voice from the outer world. All these different things that are kind of like in the back of your mind as you move forward. They lead you to Zoshir's chambers after they've given you sufficient time to kind of like dust yourself off and relax and notify him of your arrival. And curtain parts. Lets you through.
Would the phrase Lisan al-Ghaib mean anything to her?
With not normally, but because you have the other memory, it instantly becomes known to you in the old tongue.
Okay.
The scene is yours.
Zoshir, it's good to see you.
Welcome back.
I hear there was an attempt on your life. I'm glad to see they failed.
I think that attempts on my life will be a lot more common. I
Well,
can't be caught off guard.
what happened to the assassin?
Unfortunately, I could not get any information out of them and had to dispatch them.
Daphne, roll discipline. The more you get, the more you know.
Okay. Gonna pair that with truth. Let me check my focuses. Would observe or infiltration apply?
Observe. Mhm.
Okay. Oh! Starting off on a strong foot, I see.
I see, yes. You have a point of momentum, and you still have one remaining benevolence that you can use if you wish to use it. And of course, the threat market is always open.
Let's use the momentum.
Very good. Okay. Go ahead and roll another d20.
So that's 3 successes.
Wow. Okay. So you catch something as you're walking into the chamber where Zoshir stays, and it looks like some things are in a bit of a disarray here. So you definitely believe this thing where the reports of an assassination attempt that took place here. There was obviously a scuffle, but there are some things that are not part of the, you know, uh, the tableau here. Um, you see some images off to the side, and you kind of glance at them at first. You don't think anything of them. You think that they're just a design, and then something whispers in the back of your mind again. Shaiolud, the worm with the man's face, the man with the worm's body. And you look again, and you see something that some part of you recognizes. You suspect it's Kyra's memories that are immediately triggered when you see this image. How do you proceed?
Which memories in specific are triggered?
Her visions.
Okay. So Daphne looks like she's going to say something next to Zoshir, but almost like that dog from Up who's like squirrel. She's like painting. And her attention is immediately drawn to the drawings, and she will ask, "What are these?"
Those were brought to me by Merlot. We're trying to figure them out. There was a cult of sorts. The adherents, as far as I know, no longer exist. But it is strange. It's a strange image.
So Daphne's just tracing her fingers along some of the lines of the drawing, and she will just say, Kyra had visions of something like this. Is there anything to be gained right now by studying them further, Eric?
You can use an understand roll, and you can get 3 automatic successes from other memory.
I would like to do that.
Okay. So you can roll normally and then add 3 automatic successes on top of it with other memory. And yeah, obviously this is difficult because this is like some old obscure shit within Fremen culture in particular.
Okay.
But yeah, with the 3 successes, you're most of the way already there.
I have a focus in Fremen. Does that apply?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Yes.
It's 3 successes. How many did you want to apply? You want to just do all of it, like all 3 successes for 6 total?
I mean, it feels cheesy, but sure, let's go for it.
It takes some, like, the initial 3 is good enough to know that, like, oh, this is some heretical shit right here, because based on what you know about how Fremen religion sees Shai-Hulud as God, essentially. So to put a human face on it would be extremely problematic, to say the least. But with the combined powers of other memory, you start. It's almost like you're going through a file folder, and you're going through Kyra's file folder, and you're looking at images and experiences that she felt. And for a moment, it's like you were there, like you are her for that period of time. You are experiencing life as they did it, and the image that she saw in her mind is not something that would likely play out within any of your lifetimes or even your grandchildren's lifetimes. This is something far in the future that is more than likely to occur. It is a warning, and it just kind of like the image that this thing conjures is bleak, to say the least. You see, like, what she experienced was a multitude of paths that are paved out into the future from the present, and they all sort of diverge from one another, and some are largely different from others, but some of them are almost exactly the same. But in each case, the this that road is overflowing with blood, and the closer it gets to this image, this milestone within that time frame, it seems inescapable, unavoidable even, that this monstrosity is something that is going to exist somewhere in humankind's future, and that could be something terrible and something great at the same time. Kind of hard to
Is-
put into words, but that is kind of like what you experience when you delve into Kyra's other memory.
This is a goal, and it is an aspiration, and it is a warning. I don't think that
Okay.
this... I don't think that this incarnation of God will occur soon. But there are many paths, and they all seem to converge on this point.
But that doesn't make any sense.
When has prophecy ever made sense?
It's quite fair.
This is... It is almost like the Bene Gesserit goal of finding a shortener of the way. It is something that they have dedicated generations to achieving, and this is a similar goal, but I don't know who works towards it.
That I'm currently unsure, but
Maybe no one is working towards it and it will happen anyway.
as it seems, prophecy has a way of doing. Are you informed on what happened with Myrma?
I heard that there was an attack on you, that there is slander against you. I don't know the details.
Are you lying right now?
Right now, Daphne believes it's slander.
Okay.
We will touch on the slander in a moment. Myrma was the cause of the Sardaukar escaping, and she is the cause of the death of Milia.
Ah, I had heard that Nelia was no longer with us. I didn't know the details. So I assume the Sardaukar, he's the one whose water has been distributed?
Yes, which is disappointing because I'm sure that they had answers. They fought strangely, and the fact that they were willing to lay down their life to attempt to kill me, and it was strange. It was quite strange.
Well, there are two possibilities, as I see them. One is that Myrma was somehow able to suborn a Sardaukar. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. If that was within her capability, she is probably one of the more dangerous Bene Gesserit, akin with the Emperor's Truthsayer. The other one is that the Sardaukar believed that whatever they were doing fulfilled the Emperor's wishes. It is probably a combination of both. If I had to guess that Myrma was able to manipulate the Sardaukar. She used her Bene Gesserit powers and convinced him that this was for the good of Shaddam himself, House Carino, the Imperium.
Well, it is not quite a secret that the Fremen don't care for the Emperor.
No, if that is a secret, it's the worst kept one in the Imperium. A shame we only had the one. I suppose.
Sardaukar?
Indeed.
Or the Emperor?
I think one Shaddam is one too many.
Indeed.
Don't tell Massam I said that.
Awesome. How is he?
He is well. He is openly known as his father's son now. He still misses Kyra, I can tell. But he's made a new friend. The son of the Duke who has replaced the Harkonnen. I shall have to arrange a meeting with you and he at some point soon.
I foresee a lot of meetings. Though I am no Saidina.
I'll try to make it something interesting.
You always do.
Sometimes interesting happens to me.
At this point, Zoshir will, if there's anyone else in the room, dismiss them. No?
Just you two.
Yeah. Oh. The slander, what have you heard?
It's ridiculous.
Truly.
They're accusing a Fremen leader of being in league with the Harkonnen.
In league with?
Well, having Harkonnen blood.
There's something I must tell you.
I don't like that face.
It is not slander.
So, what is it?
It is a past that I did not remember. As far as I knew, up until quite recently, I was Fremen. I am Fremen. However, I was born to a Harkonnen.
Which one?
Their names are strange on my tongue. What had she said?
Abelord.
Oh yeah, I was just role playing it. Sorry.
Both of you, give me a discipline observation.
I don't
Oh,
like
God.
that roll. Well, no, he got a 20.
No, I don't either.
Need to beat a difficulty 2 or higher.
What's the What is it for? Like, it will depend on what my drive
It
will
may-
be.
Yes, it's basically to detect someone. Okay, someone is listening in. And they don't want you to
Motherfuckers.
notice. Motherfuckers, indeed.
Oh, probably truth then? Question mark.
Yeah, if that makes sense, sure. Hmm. So having to
Oh shit.
slice open your proverbial chest and bare it all to Daphne in such a manner is taking all of your attention. Daphne, however, has been a Jesuit trained and she has hyper awareness. So, despite everything that's going on, the fact that she's listening to everything that you say and the way that you say it, she is incapable of switching off that part of her awareness that notices all the little subtle nuances in the room around you. And when you say that these things are not hearsay, that they're true, and when you say that one particular thing, you hear she knew, Daphne, you noticed the beads on the curtain just clink together a little bit when there was no breeze. You kind of look behind you for a second, you glance back over your shoulder, and like someone's shadow just kind of recedes a little bit.
You're welcome to join us, shadow person.
There's no response.
Daphne will go investigate the corner.
The bodyguard that escorted you here, Shiri, is no longer present. How does
Alright.
Shiri react?
Sherry.
Is
I'll let her go for now.
she trusted by you?
Yes. However, I don't think she trusts me very much anymore now.
Why not?
It's complicated. While the prophecy does say that an outframe will lead, they still distrust and being a member of the siege is one thing. Being a leader, however,
A
It's quite
leader
another.
with Harkonnen heritage.
yes.
Well, you're Abelard's son? You seem a little young for that.
Grandson, I believe.
That makes more sense.
Being that he is Harkonnen,
Well,
I'm
no,
sure
if
he is as bad as the rest.
No, if you're his... Who was your father?
I might actually need a little help on that one. What was his name?
He was a Fremen. Yeah, so your father was actually the son of a Harkonnen, the secret son of a Harkonnen, and a Fremen woman.
Okay. And then the mom was a Sayadina, right?
Correct.
Father was a hamster and your mother smelled the elderberries. Got it. Sorry. I think of that every time we talk about it. My father was the secret Harkonnen, but he was also Fremen. My mother was a Sayadina.
All right. Interesting.
Interesting. They're Harkonnen. They're Old wicked.
Abelard was the black sheep, and I assume this is all things everybody would know.
Someone with the imperial politics and stuff like that, yeah, you probably know.
Abelard was the black sheep of his family for his kindness and compassion. That is why he was... Oh, there were a couple banishments, and that is why his own son murdered him. Your Uncle Raban. That's why they call him the Beast. It's not anything he's done here on Arrakis to your people. She put emphasis on your people. She still thinks of him as Fremen. But for the patricide...
If I spilled Raban's water, I don't think I would even incorporate it into my siege.
No, he's... I'm certain his water is poison. This presents... Oh, this makes things very interesting. There's another Harkonnen here. His name's Nadim. I forgot to get the specifics of his lineage when I met him. But he's an honored guest, and I can easily go back and do that.
Harkonnen, an honored guest.
It's a polite way of saying prisoner. He told me that his plan is to depose Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Well, while I would not call him a friend, I don't know if I could quite call him an enemy in that case.
You have a claim on Gidi Prime.
I claim nothing in that place.
Abelard was older than Vladimir. You could argue before the Landsraad that patricide makes Glossu unworthy to inherit, and you're clearly older than Feyd-Rautha.
That place is tainted. I would not touch it unless I were dead.
It is, however, leverage that our new friend could use. I'm not telling you that you should do one thing or the other, but letting you know how the situation has changed in interesting ways.
Outframe politics, Zoshir. Much do you care about it?
He doesn't, really.
Well, I won't tell Nadim, but if the rumors have reached me, they'll reach him soon enough as well.
Who was the speaker of these rumors, exactly?
Oh. Remind me, Eric, I can't remember.
Oh, that was Hasak, and because he learned of this after he convened, presumably with Myrma, because at first he was like, "Oh, thank you for bringing us in" and everything like that, and then when everybody was going to sleep for the day, to rise in the night, that's when Zoshir came upon Hasak and his troop, speaking with Myrma at her quarters, and then as soon as
Right.
he came around the corner, they kind of dispersed.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying to remember how Daphne learned.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just looked it up. It was Tiberii. They all
Oh,
wear the
right.
hoods, so I'm not sure which
Oh
one it
yeah,
was.
that was me.
The other you. That's right. Tiberia carried the news to Carthage about the assassination attempt and so on and so forth. Remember all that. Around this time, Daphne, you get a ping on your Communinet. And
She'll check it.
the message is being conveyed by Security Commander Hajan, who's like, Your Grace, Duke Leto is scheduled to take Dr. Kynes, the Judge of the Change, out on a inspection of the spice operations while it's still daytime. There's a harvester that went over time in the previous evening, and they are ready to be picked up, it seems. They're asking for an escort of Thopters to carry Kynes and along with the Duke and his entourage to oversee the operation.
Sorry, fangirl moment. Well, you wanted an interesting way to meet the Duke. Would you like to be part of his escort as Lady Kynes? I'm not sure her honorific. Doctor, I suppose. Doctor of Botany. Planetology. Dr. Kynes is going to show the Duke how harvesting works on the planet. I'm sure your insight would be invaluable if you wish to come.
I find that machinery disturbing, but yes, I think that would be an excellent idea.
I believe that Duke Leto Atreides would find your reasons as to why you find it disturbing immensely invaluable.
We shall see. It is. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back. We'll have to take some time for ourselves later.
Most of the time, Zashir, the Fremen operate at night time. So you're at this point during the day, you're actually kind of exhausted after everything that's happened the last couple days. But if you wanted to, you could leave with Daphne on this version, or you could just say like, nah, I'll sit it out. Thanks. I'll send you a Tiberii or whatever. It's up to you.
I mean, I'm happy to pilot so he can nap in the ornithopter.
Yeah, I figure he'll take a cat nap in the ornithopter, just like lean back, typical like guy nap, arms crossed, ankles crossed, and just kind of like head back. Bless you.
Fair enough. John is like, he's going to be convening at the palace in Arakeen in the next few hours. So if you're planning on attending the operations, or if you're planning on sending someone in your stead, they would require your presence there within, an hour or two. So.
I'll send a message that Daphne will be there in person, and that she is bringing a Fremen dignitary. And then if Zoshir wants to bring Shiri or Hurdy or whomever else as well.
Very good. Yeah,
that's a good idea. He might hunt down Shiri really quick.
Okay. You're like, hold that thought, and like you leave the room for a second. You can't find her. You have to go like into the siege and ask around, but they're like, oh yeah, she went this way. She was running. And then she like, eventually you find her like in the common area, like talking to some of the other Fremen, and as soon as you walk in, like her face goes blank for a second. She stands up, like, Zashir. require my aid?
I would like to speak with you for a moment.
She looks behind her to people that she was sitting with, and then follows you.
Earlier, I'm sure you know what I speak.
Ooh. Um. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, you could see it plain on her face, but she's trying really hard to hide the fact that she was witnessed. You know, something that, well, it would be very problematic for you, to say the least. I saw nothing. I heard nothing.
No, you did. That's fine. Everyone knows that an outframe is supposed to be part of the prophecy as much of a bad taste it leaves in my mouth.
Was it also part of the of Kyra's prophecy that the Mahdi would reject being the Mahdi?
Apparently, you know that challenge that we were getting daily about
I'm unsure.
Yeah,
I believe
there's a
that
game mode active
it
during
mentioned something
that, where
about
sometimes only a half a second.
hesitancy.
I had no
But-
idea it existed.
Sure, this is difficult.
Devin
Indeed,
is
it
the
is. If they find out, if they know what I know, they will kill you. They will take your water and spill it on the sands of this planet. Mahdi be damned.
holy shit. This game is like legitimately really fun.
And with that,
And
we'll switch
shoot.
to someone else
Shit.
here. You finish up your scene with Shiri. She seems a little more indignant now than before, and eventually, you know, Daphne comes to collect you because they got a haul to Arakeen to meet with the Duke and the change.
Very
Uh,
quickly,
Oh yes.
who was it that Shiri was saying would kill Zoshir if they knew? The other
They,
Fremen?
meaning the tribe, yeah. If they see
Okay.
that, if they feel that they've been betrayed by their Mahdi, you know, regardless of whatever the prophecy says, like that sort of deception runs pretty deep. Harkonnen, that's what she says. Like,
Okay.
they'll kill you.
Was essentially what I was planning on saying was, you know, then it was meant to be. They kill him, it was meant to be.
And it was part of the prophecy. For all, yeah. Archibald. The council would like to speak to you now.
Oh,
The many-masked council of Fenris. General Archibald. That is what they call you, is it not? That is what was reported.
Yeah, you're correct.
What does Allfather want with you? Why are you so important?
I don't know.
Surely you must. You traveled a great distance to come here. This is Two-Pile. No one comes here on purpose.
Well, I guess there's a first for everything.
You think you
I
can
didn't
play
come.
word games with us, General?
Not at all.
Good.
But I didn't come here
we're
because
playing games.
I'm not either. I didn't come here
Good.
because of a machine. I
Came
didn't.
here for a machine?
No. Thing is I see everyone. This obviously is a prison, and I want to change that.
And how would you, someone of the landed gentry of the Imperium, do that exactly?
Well, first I'd make it into an empire, one that rivals the Landsrad.
That's absurd.
Everyone's
certainly
called me
we have-
crazy before.
We have dedicated fighters here with us, but for a different battle altogether. Yes, we seek.
I've kind
to
of
be-
noticed that. You kind of have your hands full as well.
Allfather is not so difficult to get rid of. We've been in a pitched battle with him and his adherents for many, many generations. The guild are paralyzed to do anything about him. In fact, it's one of their best kept, dirtiest secrets. They know of Allfather and have been unable to get rid of him.
Well, thing is, all the guild as well. This machine has some sort of prescience to him. I think this machine can see visions of the future.
Is this a theory? Have any evidence to back this up?
It's a theory. I will say that.
Well, what
But
is it based on exactly?
it's based on my niece. I've physically seen her have these memories, visions of the future. I think what they're doing is they're having these visions of the future, and they're just better at seeing what they mean, making them out, as you would say.
And as
They're
Allfather,
machines,
would you
after
consider
all.
him? Would you consider this faction to be these children of the forgotten children, as they call themselves? Would they be considered to you an ally or an enemy?
To be honest with you, I find them quite weird. Really weird.
That's not an answer, General.
Okay. Enemy.
And what are you prepared to do about it exactly? You're here on Tupa. You're our prisoner now.
Well, considering the fact that I didn't know this was a machine uprising, looks like plans have changed for me. I do have a little bit of a hypothesis, I guess. Maybe we can make a deal. I'm a
deal.
betting man myself, and I like to bet on myself. The good captain over here told me you guys have been in battle for a long time.
Yeah. Make an understand roll. I'll pitch it to
Understand.
you the same way I did to Daphne. The more you get, the more you know.
Okie doke. Give me a minute. I was ill prepared. This is not
That's
good.
fine.
This is amateur hour.
What are you talking about? You know, you should have a very high understand as a general, I would imagine.
Oh no, I was talking about Jared as a player, not having his sheet up. Okay, so understand roll, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got imperial politics and deductive reasoning, so I could probably use both of those, couldn't I?
You could use a point of momentum now, and a benevolence that you can spend to reroll if all goes awry.
All right. I would say this is truth, and you could also use my statement here as well. You will know me by my deeds. Guaranteed they've heard of me.
Well, this understand roll is for you to it's a kind of like your mind is like putting stuff together now. It's not necessarily that you're using it to convince them of anything, but yeah, deductive logic and all that stuff, deductive reasoning, that all works.
Okay. 2 days. Focus, yes.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.
Very good. Okay, so you notice something interesting about your interactions with the Allfather and the New Jihad. They both want the same things, but for different reasons. Allfather wants to be integrated back into the Imperium along with his forgotten children. And eventually, he believes humanity will evolve to embrace thinking machines once again, and and to hear him say it, everyone will eventually become integrated and become immortal, having all knowledge, all accumulated knowledge across human history. The New Jihad is not down with that at all. They want to obliterate him and all of his adherents. Period. But they also want to escape Tupile. They feel that they should not be continuously persecuted because of the sins of their fathers or their ancestors in this case, and that they should have a chance to rejoin the Imperium on some level. They're very angry about it, about being, spurned in this way, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get out. You see that with all of the new jihadists that you've met so far, including the captain and the council of Fenris. What's interesting, though, is that what one side lacks, the other one seems to have in abundance. Like, Allfather has tremendous amounts of resources. Not as many followers, from what you've been able to tell. Not as many of the integrated that make up his elite crack troops, right? That you suspect, that seeing them fight in firsthand in our first session, you saw what they were capable of, and they are almost a match for your Varagian Guard and potentially the Sardaukar. They're dangerous. The New Jihad, on the other hand, not so dangerous, not so much resources. One thing they do have is their zeal and numbers. When you were brought to their city, to Nova Gaia, there are tens of thousands of fighters here. Legions, perhaps. All armed and ready to go to war, if they need to defeat the ultimate enemy, which to them is a thinking machine that thinks it's God. So, that is what you've been able to kind of deduce and notice about all these two different factions that have been at war with one another since, millennia.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use that as you wish, carry that forward in your conversation with the council.
Okay. I propose a deal with you.
Mm-hmm.
The good
what
captain.
Could you possibly have to offer?
The good captain told me that you guys have been fighting for a very long time, these machines, as you would say. And it's actually very wrong of the guild to actually ignore this problem. All right.
I don't think the guild had much of a choice. They tried and they failed. They could eliminate Allfather and his hold over Tupile.
I'm not the guild. Let's just say that. I want to
Clearly.
make progress with this war that you have. And it sounds like you've gone through a stalemate for millennia. For how many? If I make progress, you let me take control.
No, we would not so easily give over control to somebody who literally just arrived on Tupile, especially with such thoughts of grandeur for themselves. You came here to raise an army and take over the Imperium. Absurd.
Not at all. I came here to make an empire that's worthy of the Landsrod.
A competitor to the Imperium.
This is what I want. I want two places where people can go. The Landsrod has a monopoly basically on everything. The Guild and the Landsrod. Tupile needs to have a cut of that pie. I'm not talking about joining back the Landsrod. I am talking about making Tupile their own entity, their own country, as you would say.
Please, it's like this is already as it is now.
What?
We are what remains of the renegade houses. Some of us stay and fight the good fight against Allfather in an attempt to cull the universe of such abhorrent things as thinking machines, and others seek to ply their trade elsewhere. They escape, they move without notice underneath the guild's nose and seek to try to ply a trade of their own as smugglers, mercenaries. They're well known throughout the Imperium,
Oh, of course.
but nothing will largely come of their efforts because they don't. Well, there simply aren't enough of them, and the entire Imperium would be leveraged against them, due to their exiled status, of course. So what you're proposing is absurd for this particular reason. We hold no real power, no real leverage against the Imperium. There's no reason for anyone to come to Tupile. We get whatever the guild gives us and whatever we're able to scavenge for ourselves.
Oh,
All
yeah.
other, on the other hand, is the one that holds the most amount of resources here. He has shipyards on other planets within the system. He's constantly building, manufacturing different things, weapons, ships, refining ores. We do not have that. We have to take it from him.
I completely agree with you. And the thought of you saying that Tupile doesn't have leverage, we do. I do think we do. And I know how to get leverage too, even if you don't think.
And what would that be exactly, General?
You see, Arrakis, I don't know if you've heard about the Atreides.
It's like we've been out of Landsred politics for a very long time, General. You'll forgive our ignorance.
And that's okay. So, the Atreides, they're moving on. They're replacing the Harkonnens on Arrakis.
For Arrakis.
Correct. 100 years, they're no longer going to be there. Well, the thing is something tells me that everybody knows it, even in every house, and Tom, Dick, and Harry know that that's probably a trap for the Atreides. How would it make us look if we saved the Atreides, saved them, saved his sons, or at least made sure that they didn't eat slop in some sietch somewhere?
That would ensure that we would be indebted to the
indebted.
Atreides, but who set the trap for the Atreides to begin with?
Who left the planet? And who really loves money and spice?
You're going to have to assist us with that question, General. As I said, we're not familiar with any of the players of this game.
Harkonnens, and I wouldn't be surprised if House Carinos did as well. The Sardaukar,
the Emperor's house.
100%.
If the Emperor sent the Atreides to fail on Arrakis, and we save them, we're making two enemies, one of the Harkonnen and one of the Emperor's house.
Yes, but we would have the edge as well with my troops and your
What
limited.
Troops? They around the room like it's just you here.
Well, considering that your troops left my troops on that other planet, which, by the way, I'm not happy about that. My troops rival the Sardaukar.
The assortment of masked faces in this holographic bullet before you, they all speak one after the other. Another representative says, according to the report from our captain, Captain Germain, you brought a squad of soldiers with you to Tupile. What grand army are you boasting exactly, General?
The one we have here. What if I taught all your soldiers how to fight like that?
We know how to fight. We've been fighting for generations.
Do you now?
You're here as
then why
proof
are you here?
that we're able to acquire quite easily.
Then why are you in prison right now, may I ask?
We're not in prison.
If you're that...
You are.
Yeah, and you're right. But you're also in Tupile, If you say that you can fight, why haven't you attacked the Landsrod or went to war or anything?
We don't wish to destroy the Landsrad. We wish to rejoin it, just like anyone else here on Two-Pile. Even Allfather claims to do that. What he really wants. He wants everyone to be like him. He wants to rule over the Imperium and force everyone to become like him, a thinking machine, an unthinking human with a machine brain. Does that sound like freedom to you, General?
That is slavery, my friend. I don't want that at all.
Precisely. Now, I am not convinced that you have anything that we can use to win this battle. However, there is a reason why Allfather sought you out and hosted you in the Citadel. If you don't even know the answer to that, then I suspect that only he knows. But there has to be some reason why he's interested in acquiring you, perhaps integrating you into his menagerie. Perhaps you do possess some sort of strategic acumen that we can use. Would you be willing to undertake an assignment as a sign of loyalty to the New Jihad, to our holy mission?
Yeah, I will. And I'll prove to you what I can do, what I'm able to do. And I think you'll have a change of heart on everything I've said today.
We shall see. Allfather has been utilizing his forces to raid the Odinai section of space. A second here. It's like I will let Captain Germain explain in a briefing. It's like I will make it arranged for them to be able to explain what needs to happen next. And it's like, but if you are to join us, then you truly need to show that you're committed to the cause. Because the last thing we want is to give Allfather more of an edge than he already possesses. Especially with the plans that we have set in place. Plans that you may be privy to, that you prove yourself loyal. And they kind of hand the meeting over to Captain Inessa, who in her very posh accent comes forward. Now then, yes, let us begin, shall we? And a different holographic projection emanates from the solid oak in the center of the room. The Odinai system was home to many planets that were subsequently destroyed by the thinking machines during the Great Revolt. Since then, it has been taken over by Chom, who sold off the rights to mine every celestial body for precious resources to the highest bidder. With Chom came many merchant houses, smugglers, plunderers. The houses acquired Chom Company contracts to mine, refine, and produce goods for the Imperium. Everything from ornithopter to spice harvester parts. Recently, we've seen an uptick of movement among Allfather's forces into this sector of space. They have been reportedly raiding transports and facilities, disrupting trade and putting safe travel through the sector at risk. Guild knows of these disruptions but have been unable to stop them due to how dangerous it is to navigate through a system like Odinai. With many of the worlds having been destroyed during the Butlerian Jihad, the entire sector is a giant debris field where Allfather's forces can safely hide and wait out their opponents. Atomic weapons and heavy ordnance are out of the question due to the liability involved in placing the merchant houses and their people at risk. Our current stratagem is to send a bait vessel transporting materials through the sector, locate a ship belonging to Allfather, and pack them back to their operations center. After we make an assessment of the opposition, we field a raiding party and stage a frontal assault to eliminate their leadership. The most recent observations and estimates show that all Father's forces possess larger and stronger vessels. Luckily, we have something they don't. You. All Father's adherents can't think for themselves once they've been integrated, which means they have no sense of strategy when it comes to conflicts, which means their tactics are predictable and exploitable. They'll use the debris field to hide and cover escapes. They will wait until our ships are within close range before they reveal themselves and open fire. Let's not give them the opportunity. Instead, let us use the debris field ourselves, perhaps, as a way to encroach on their headquarters and shut them down. And just then, the hollow image of the council appears again in the center of the room. Thank you, Captain, one of them says. And in the past, we've occasionally had wins against the tyrant and his forces. Something has changed recently, however. Perhaps his alleged oracular view has been obscured, or maybe it has ceased altogether. Maybe it's a ruse. But being aware of a trap is the first step in avoiding it. And so we must take the initiative and strike now. We have an opportunity to show all of Tupile that their robotic god is not infallible. We'll give you some troops and some ships, along with Captain Germain, to stage this action, if you believe that you are capable of doing so. How soon could you predictably locate their facilities where they operate from and shut them down?
No better than the present. I'll get started right away.
Very good. First thing tomorrow morning, we'll begin training. We'll get you familiar with the weapons and the ships that we have at our disposal. We'll put together a strike team before the end of the week. And then, General Oyald, then you will have to prove to us that you are the the person we need for the job. Otherwise, we have no use for you here. And you can kind of tell, like, the underlying tone there is like, if we can't make use of you here, you're gone.
Dead.
Which means either you're dead, or you suspect, judging by the way that they are operating, they'll use you as bait for Allfather.
Understandable.
So it's up to you whether you want them to take that chance or whether you're going to play that game with them. How do you want to proceed with that?
What do you mean, play that game?
Well, okay, so the game that they're currently playing is show us that you're serious about working with us, and we'll consider bringing you in. If you don't, we could just get rid of you, or we can use you. And they don't explicitly say it, but you got enough of a success with your understanding and truth that you're like, I know what they're gonna play at. If they can't use me against Allfather, like directly, to lead their forces or whatever, to disrupt their operations, they'll just use you as bait. They'll jingle the keys, and Allfather will look, and when he's not looking directly at them, they'll deliver the 1-2 punch and try to take him out, or do as damage as possible.
Okay. Of course. And I'm used to betting on myself. I promise.
I'm sure you are.
You'll get what you want.
Here's hoping that we do. And with that, the council dissolves into little bits of light. You don't know anything about the council or anything like that. Like this whole thing is shrouded in mystery, and there's something about all of this that is like really fucking with you. It's really like there's just something there. Like you can't really put your finger on it, but there's something just below the surface here that is unnerving, and you don't understand what it is yet.
So I would actually like to see if this is a simulation real quick.
Oh, really? And how would you like to tell if this is a simulation, General?
Take the red pill.
You want to pick a
So
fight?
I'm actually going to recall my time back in prison, and
Mhm.
you can recall that there was a certain memory that was taken from me. I'm going to recall that, and if I remember it, that it got completely abolished from my brain. I don't know it. If I remember it, then that should be a sign, because scenarios like that just fill in. You know
Here's
what
the
I mean?
thing about this question that you're positing right now. It is really impossible to know whether this is in some sort of a simulation or not, simply because there's been nothing like it. You've never experienced anything quite like this. It wasn't, even when you dream and it's like a hyper real dream, you know it's a dream on some level. This was not that. This felt real, like textures, smells, your thoughts, everything. There was no tells, there were no faults of any kind when you examined the world around you. Uh, and yet you were in this thing that was constructed to look and feel real. So now, when you're like, how do I know if I'm still in the machine or not? You don't know what the tells are. It's not, it's like if you had all the knowledge that you have in real life, you might have a better understanding of like what would be the Achilles heel of a simulation. But in this particular case, the word computer is abhorrent, has not been entertained for tens of thousands of years. So that even the like, if you were a mentat, you may have a better understanding, but you're not a mentat. So you can't think or simulate how a machine might be able to think. You can't even conceive of it. It's kind of like, how does this even work? It's not like they wrote books about it since the jihad. They burned those books already.
Gotcha.
So like, it's difficult to wrestle with that thought, and knowing that you're looking at your flesh and blood right in front of you, and at any moment it could all be gone and you're back in the simulation again. How would you even know if you hadn't died previously? Like, oh, I'll just kill myself, right? And that'll, wishy-wash all
Yeah.
the stuff, and I'll remember it, right? But how do you know? How do you know you'll remember? And that's the key thing. Like, there's no way to know for sure. But I'm dying to know uh, what you plan to do to test that theory of yours.
Well, I still think that was a pretty good idea, remembering the memory that got abolished from my head,
Which
because
memory would
nobody
that
knows about
be?
that. What?
Oh,
Yeah, the
a
one that got
memory that
abolished from Alicia,
if it was abolished, then it no
probing me.
longer resides in your brain. You can't recall it if you tried.
Exactly my point. If I recall it, then
Oh,
there's
I
something funky
see.
going on with reality
I
here.
see. I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's like some, okay, interesting. I need give me a difficulty roll. The higher you roll, the better.
I'm going to use this last benevolence because this is probably the only time I'll be able to figure this out. And watch, I wake up and I'm next to the All-Father. Oh, you've done your test. Wait, where's my thing? God damn it. There it is. Okay. All right, what was it? Understand?
Yeah.
All right, so this is 100% deductive reasoning, so I can use my focus here.
Sure. Did you want to spend a momentum or pay me some threat for some additional dice?
I will spend that momentum.
Okay.
This is obviously truth. Submit. Dice. Yes.
If you're wrong, by the way, it's gonna be bad. But go ahead.
I'm willing to risk it to get the biscuit.
Get the biscuit. All right. 2 successes
2.
and a complication.
That's a 19.
Oh my. That's an 18.
All right.
Your target number is 13. You got a 2, which gave you 2 successes.
Okay. I am more than welcome to give you your 2 threat in order to take that complication away.
Oh, okay.
Only spend it on him. Only spend it on him.
Yeah.
Hey, this could go very badly for me if I fail or if this goes through. So yes, I am
You're
willing
thinking
to do
about
that.
it, and you're like, "What is the one memory that I was abolished? Like, what is that thought that I no longer have? Am I able to recall it?" And you try to think back to that time when you were being essentially tortured in the garden by Alicia. And there was some memory that she plucked out of your mind with the Ixion probe, one that you saw it like dissolve right before your eyes. It's like you were living in that moment, and then the world took like this turn, and everything went white, and everything disappeared. We could say it was like a childhood memory of you and Federico as brothers. You were on the hunt on Jabberwock, looking for for an elusive creature. Insert name from Alice in Wonderland here. Not a Jabberwock, obviously, but something else. And you were trudging through the jungle trying to find tracks. And Federico was overeager and he was far ahead of you, and you were getting left behind. So you ran to catch up to him. And then a shot rang out, and you saw like the creatures that nestled on top of the jungle trees took off all at once, and it was unclear if your brother was alive or not. And you rushed to his side. That memory was gone. It was deleted. It was like you couldn't recall it. But here you feel like you recall most of that. What do you do?
A simulation. Okay.
It's a little. You're certain that there are parts of it that you remember, but there are certain parts of it that are gone forever. And you feel like you're on the edge here of either discovery or you're this feeling that you're doomed no matter what you do. What shall you do, General? What would be the ultimate test? The ultimate way to know for sure.
That's a great question.
You're on Nova Gaia. You have some leeway here in terms of like being able to access your own quarters, and you can walk out and mill around the rest of the other new jihadists that are part of the complex. There's always somebody watching not too far away, though, to make sure you don't go into places that you're not supposed to.
I'm going to do something fairly drastic.
Oh, good.
This is gonna be fun. Okay. I want to know, so if this Allfather, if I'm really that important, he's going to stop whatever I'm doing. All right. And if this is a simulation, I'm going to take one bullet and I'm going to do Russian roulette right to my head.
Wow. Okay.
Got to risk it to get the biscuit.
You do this in the confines of your quarters or just out
Oh,
in the open?
100%. I ain't doing this in front of everybody.
Okay. You bring up your, assuming they grant you a weapon at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
You look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I'm on to you. And like you put the weapon up to your head and you pull the trigger and there's like this thing, this one moment. It's the one moment that you know that you experience pain. The pain is real. The blood is real. It's all over the walls. And you feel yourself start to sway. And everything around your vision starts to collide and get smaller and smaller and smaller until it gets to this little tiny pinprick when all sound and vision disappears and you expire. And that's where we'll stop. We're going to go on break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Will he live? Will he die? Stick around to find out.
Oh God.
You asked for it. Enjoy
I
your
know I
biscuit.
did. I was like, you want to know what? Let's fucking do this.
welcome back. We have returned from our break. We're going to leave a few things, a few cliffhangers hanging in the air for right now until our friend Leo comes back to us. In the meantime, however, we can shift over to Jabberwock and all of the juicy intrigues that are taking place there currently. So, as I understand it, Elois had Amira dispose of one of the nobles that attended your recent gathering. How would you like her to proceed? Loudly or quietly?
So I think for the first one, we'll leave it quiet. They'll just be found, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Okay. Poison. They find him in his own lounge, just like croaked, and the physician's like, he overdosed on some substance, and it may be some foul play, but there's no marks on him to show that, somebody assaulted him. Maybe he imbibed something that killed him. But you're officially just being like, with your as the steward, you can just kind of like delay any investigation, or just pick up a communinet and be like, yeah, don't look too hard for this guy. For his sake, he kind of earned it.
I think
you want to intrude on it.
The way Eloise will phrase it is like, take whatever measures you feel necessary, but he did speak openly against me in the court, so who knows who might want to take him to speak that way of the new steward openly.
Yeah.
Who knows who would want to take revenge for that? The list could be endless.
Indeed. Some time passes on Jabberwock after your initial meeting. You wanted to shower the economy with all that spice money that you're flush with currently.
Yes.
So we'll turn our attention here for the moment to the indices, and I'll give you a proposition here.
Okay.
You see how currently you have 0 honor, 0 imperial support, Landsrat support. You have a +1 for military power, and wealth is at 0, which isn't to say that you're poor, but you are a nascent house, so you only have as much wealth as you've inherited.
Correct.
That you're allowed to use. So we could do one of two things. You can expend your spice asset, which is kind of a danger to you specifically, in its quality, in exchange for a bonus somewhere in the indice, or you could reduce your wealth and increase something else, like honor, for example.
Okay. So when it comes to my spice assets, we never really defined that, because I had my cut of the Razia for helping with the giving support with Amira. That I got Archibald's cut, what was left over after he paid his debts, and then there was that large container that Amira swiped also. So I got a little extra taste.
Yeah.
So how, if I spent an asset, how scarce is my spice supply if I spend a spice asset to raise something?
So when you basically deplete it, that is when you no longer have any spice stores left for yourself.
Okay.
You have what can be assumed to be months worth of supply before you have to go back to your aka the guild, or back to Arrakis, however you want to gain more. So it is a finite resource when you use it to make big purchases, so to speak. Okay. In this particular case, you're buying the happiness of the people on your planet as the steward. You're making it rain. In this particular case, if you use the spice to do so, then you deplete your own supply, but people have houses now because of it, rows of them.
So if possible, Daphne might have sent a cut of her share of the spice, essentially because I think we were talking offline about this, but Daphne wants to essentially spread a whole bunch of spice and essentially pay like very small business people, bakers, florists, grocers. Hey, your Duchess is getting married. Don't ask too many questions about the who, but it's a party.
Right.
And so, like, pay like 1,000 bakers to like bake cakes and give them away.
Okay.
So
I do have a follow-up question for Daphne, actually.
yeah.
Is the marriage taking place on Arrakis, or are you going to have it on Jabberwock?
Oh, good question.
Just so I know how to, like, prepare for that if that's gonna happen.
Well, so my thought was that we like the actual ceremony, wherever it happened, would be like really small, very intimate, close friends and family only. But essentially just wants to get people in a party mood. So like, don't ask too many questions about the groom. Don't ask too many questions about the other groom. But you know, here's some money to buy bread and give it away. So
Okay.
I am willing, as long as Eloise promises to spend the spice that Daphne gives her. I will give you a portion of my cut.
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
of course, 100%. She does legitimately care about the people of Jabberwock. I do want to stress this.
I mean,
She just hates the fucking nobles.
She doesn't want her people to suffer.
So if that's okay with our benevolent game master, I will spend Daphne's share to raise my honor by 1, and then, I could take. Can I do both? Like, take a hit to my wealth, use Daphne's thing, and raise it by 2.
Yeah. You want to raise the honor?
I don't give a shit about Imperial support. I'm just gonna be real. It's just gonna be real. I give 0 shit.
fine.
We did just lose the White Rabbits, though.
Yeah, that's true. You can see that we can translate that as a hit to the military power protecting the planet. In which case, that'll bring you back down to 0.
Okay. Oh, I feel like I'm playing a secondary tabletop game now, where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm running a marathon of like time to role play, but also let's micromanage my resources. Okay, so yeah, I will spend for sure Daphne's spice share on honor +1. Is it possible for me to drop the wealth by 1 and increase spice production by 1 using my guild connections?
Oh, that would be a test, because they have ceased, they have initiated a cessation of hostilities against you. So,
and I did offer let's have a beneficial relationship again.
Sure.
So yeah, if I can spend a point of my wealth to potentially raise spice production, I think that'd be great.
You could. It would be contingent on you succeeding in a difficulty 3 communications roll.
I will ask then. Do I spend in advance, or I succeed and then spend?
Ooh. I will say that if you fail, they'll give it to you, but it will be contingent on something else. You will owe them a favor instead of the other way around.
I see. Okay. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do that. This seems like a fun gamble that might pay off big time. And communication is my best stat, so I shouldn't have said that out loud. Should not have said that out loud. All right. I think this is probably duty. I know my responsibilities. Seems appropriate.
Yeah, that seems appropriate.
Yeah. Do we have any momentum?
None.
I see. So
I have 2 threat if you want to add to it, and 1 benevolence.
Yeah, I'll give you
the benevolence. No, use the benevolence. This is important.
Well, the benevolence is a reroll. If I need it, right? So I'll give you a point of threat for a die, if I may.
Sure.
Wonderful. I do have.
You're rolling 3
I also.
dice?
I forgot that I have 2 determination points because I'm unquestionably loyal. Also.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So I have that advantage. I do. There is a caveat when I spend determination though, because it forces me to have a vision too. All right, let's do this. Fuck it. Let's go. Communicate.
Okay.
I don't think deceit applies. I am trying to deal honestly with the guild here.
Okay.
I'm trying to win some favor back. So duty, 3 dice, no focus. Oh fuck my life.
You want to use that benevolence if you roll a 19?
I would love. Actually, no. I will spend one of my
Oh.
determination points to turn that 19 into a 1 for 4 successes.
Very well done. So you get 1 momentum from that, which you can use for the duration of your turn here. And yeah. So what that means is you succeeded, so you don't owe the guild anything. And you managed to, let's see, the deal was you're gonna take a hit to wealth. In order
to raise spice.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. So yeah, they give you an advance on your spice requirements. Like, hey, I'm the steward of Jabberwock. I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm not gonna be able to get in contact with too many of my guild representatives. I need an advance now because I'm planning on using some of the spice for other reasons or whatever. And he manages to convince them to give you like another 3 months or whatever as an advance. So there you
Excellent.
go.
Awesome. That is perfect. I love it.
And now you use the point of determination. You said that triggers a vision?
Yeah, because of a failed navigator talent, whenever I spend determination points, I get a vision. it can be as useful or erroneous as you decide, but I always get one when I spend determination.
I'll do you one better. I'm gonna say that you get to roll understand. You pick a drive.
Okay.
And if you get 2 successes, you can ask 1 question of me as if you had spent momentum. And additional successes will allow for additional questions. Alternately, I'll say, you can decide something about the future when described in a dreamy vision state.
Oh, that is... You know how to tempt me so well, Eric. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do that. So okay. Understand. I have data analysis under understand. Would that apply here?
Yeah, I would say so.
Cool. I think probably power is appropriate. I'll have what's owed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Power, focus, 2 dice, focus, yes. No, I don't know shit about fuck.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
Is everyone okay if I use the benevolence to just straight reroll?
Ah, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, awesome.
Very good.
Focus, yes. So let's try it again. Nope, I suck.
What? Oh my god.
I just want to point out almost identical fucking rolls. 13, 14, then 14, 14. The roll 20 does not want me to know the future.
The dice have spoken.
They have spoken.
Oh my god. Okay.
The dice must flow.
Yeah, so you
Drea just did give us another. Drea just gave us another benevolence, but I'm not going to use it again. I'm gonna take the hint.
Okay, sure.
So we have. I guess I have a benevolence floating if I need it.
There you go. I'm gonna say that the dreams that you do have, the visions that you have, are very disturbing, and they may be real. But you do see some conflict wherein the Duke's son on Arrakis dies with a hunter seeker stuck in his neck.
I see.
Do with that whatever you will.
Okay, I will keep it to myself. Okay.
You spent some time in the palace, and you you go through all the usual channels. And Melis puts in this package in place where a lot of people are going to be receiving stipends from the spice money that you blew on the economy. And yeah, it started within about a week's time. Like things start to change a little bit. There's a lot of buzz going around about what's happening, especially with regards to the program that you initiated to bring a lot of the orphans out of the streets and into the palace proper as part of the house. There's a big to do about that. A lot of delegates are here from the local Sisselrad, like overseeing what's going on, and they're like, "Oh, this is a very big change of pace." Amelis did what he usually does as advisor, and he utilized the assets available to you to put the word out and garner attention from all the other nobles within the system. So a lot of people show up to this, and there's like a little bit of a shindig going down at the palace because of it. Throughout the whole thing, you see you and Amir are like floating around the floor where all these people are gathering together to commemorate this momentous event. And you see Beatrice trying her best to put on a full house uniform for House Spicere, and doing her best to try to rub elbows with people, although she has absolutely no idea what she's doing. So you see her kind of metaphorically drowning in conversation with other people without having the first idea of like how to conduct herself or anything like that. She just kind of like she's trying to become a social chameleon of sorts, observing what everyone else does and then emulating that.
Oh,
How do you
Eloise can help
respond,
her
if at all,
so.
to that?
One quick thing. I don't think I've ever said what the house accoutrement is, the symbol.
Yeah.
It is an eye, an open eye. The pupil is shaped like the galaxy cluster we're in. That the Jabberwock at whatever cluster Jabberwock is in.
Very cool. I like it.
So yeah, Alois will see this blundering go in and kind of swoop in, like under the auspices of like adjusting, like buttoning it properly. Like here's how you wear this, dear, and to like kind of like save her from the schmoozing she's probably not that ready for yet.
Yeah. She appreciates. It's like, I didn't know. I think I painted myself into a corner there.
It's perfectly all right. No one's going to hold it against you if you're some growing pains, if you will. Especially not me. It took me years in guild service to learn how to schmooze, to use a colloquial term.
It's definitely an art, she says as she sips her drink nervously.
Tell me, Beatrice. Watch my eyes. She's going to speak an eye language to Beatrice to see if there's any kind of. She's curious if there's residual memories in DNA for Beatrice.
Don't! That's such a bad path for her to go down.
It's fine. This is her. Like it's checking to be. Oh no, it's horrible. She's not trying to.
Like, is something wrong with? And then she stops and she observes you for a moment as you're like speaking to her with eye language, and she like, unbeknownst to even her, she seems to be talking back. Like she does something with the way that she blinks, and then she kind of becomes aware that she's doing it, and she feels like weirded out, and you see like her hand is shaking and the drink is kind of sloshing around in it.
Eloise will immediately stop what she's doing and steady her and be like, I'm sorry, Beatrice, I shouldn't have done that. I was just curious. That's what I just did, what you just did is House Cheshire language. It's so we can
And she faints.
Oh, fuck me.
And you see Omelis notices what's going on. He's like, it's all right, everyone. It's all right. This does happen when there's a lot of people. Please assist her. And like he like makes eye language with Varys, who immediately like, oh shit, starts drinking himself and goes over and like, okay, all right. He pulls her arm around his shoulder and he's like, I'll take her to they'll be fine.
Yeah, to Omelis in I language, Eloise says she remembers I language.
His eyes go wide at the mention of this, like, oh shit. Varys carries Beatrice and is like, oh, excuse me, she's a little worse for wear. They open the doors for him, and it's like, yeah, she just needs some fresh air. And like, he takes her out into the garden outdoors. Amira gives you this look like, should I follow?
Eloise shakes her head. It's like, no, it's fine. In I language.
Okay. All your guests are looking at you and your entourage now, like, oh, what's happening? Like, is she okay? That's your niece, right?
Yes, it's a bit complicated, as I'm sure you've heard rumors of what happened.
Of course.
I think she's still recovering from her time in the garden. They do not.
Dreadful place.
Indeed, malnourishment and all sorts of awfulness. Of course, these are things I will be reforming in my time as steward here.
Of course, this is someone says, and we're happy to see that this renovation begins here today. I mean, somebody motions towards these children that have been brought in, and they all have been fitted with House Spicere style outfits, unless you tell them to do otherwise.
Oh no, 100%. They are regaliaed up.
Yeah, so they have them all clustered together and sitting with one another, and there's going to be a moment when they bring them on to the stage or what have you, to kind of present them to everyone officially and introduce them all. It's maybe 100 of them in total here. You know that this is just a small sampling of the thousands that exist, but Omelis thought that it was a good round number for purposes of presentation and so on and so forth. You see, after a few moments, Varys comes in, and he just kind of idles up next to you, and he's like, "She's okay. She's just a little winded, overstimulated, perhaps. I had the aides take her up to the room, made sure that she arrived safely, and she's in repose right now."
Eloise, while speaking with her mouth, is like, "That's wonderful, brother. Thank you so much." I language is she remembers House Cheshire I language.
How's that possible? He says in similar ways.
She continues just bullshitting with her brother aloud, and her eyes are still for a moment, and then she's just like, the Bene Gesserit have things with genetic memory, don't they? Maybe, my visions don't come from nowhere. Maybe there's something in our blood.
He's like, he nods and blinks, but his eyes say, that's true of the Bene Gesserit. My mother was a Bene Gesserit. But we're not talking about the Bene Gesserit. We're talking about a product of the Tylaxu.
Oh, fuck me. That's when it clicks for Eloise. I think I need to tell your soon-to-be wife what happened.
Why don't I do that for you? I can take Beatrice with me to Arrakis. We're reunited with Daphne, and she'll be safe at the palace there as well.
Of course. But I think we need to let her know in advance about this, before she arrives on Arrakis with you. We don't need another Alicia situation.
No, we don't. I can arrange it that we can have a sit-down talk, a meeting perhaps, after the event, when she's a little bit more...
Of course. There are other things I wish to discuss with our Duchess and your soon-to-be lady wife.
Very good. I'll be around, he says. He kind of saunters off. Amira is like, she looks to you and it's like, how worried are you, my dear?
Very. I don't know what I thought, but I thought I'd just see if there was something left in, of Alicia and her, and I didn't expect that. I was hoping she wouldn't know what I was doing.
I suppose we all did. I'll
True.
watch her, if that's what you would want of me. If
She's-
these memories begin to resurface, what would you have us do?
If they're just Alicia's early memories before indoctrination, before she was turned into the monster she was, I don't think we should do anything. But if there's a risk of another assassination in the household, I think we should take care of it quietly before it becomes a problem.
She just nods, doesn't say anything else. Just scans the rest of the party. Let's see. Amelis eventually brings, makes an announcement. You go up, you say a few words, and then eventually they bring the orphans onto the stage, and they have a big celebration and stuff. And the rest of the evening kind of goes by without too much fanfare or drama. Eventually, as things are winding down, Amelis is like, "We need to talk. When would be the inappropriate time for you, my lady?"
I always have time for my advisors, Melis. Let's go to my room briefly. I'll say I need to retrieve a special bottle, perhaps. Or perhaps I know better than that, Melis. I'll share some spice with our gathered guests. How about that? That seems like a good reason.
Very good. Yes. He'll let you do whatever things you need to do with your guests until you're ready to excuse yourself from them. And he's like,
Yeah, she's like, allow me to bring a sampling of Arrakis's finest for our honored guests here
Nice.
today. And then
Very
kind
good.
of, yeah.
A fleet of spice coffees and spice whiskeys come out as a result of that, and the nobility here and are just like, whoa, like that. They're astounded, and they sample it, and you hear a lot of the same comments, like, it's different every time you taste it. It's not the same. That's amazing. Some people have never tried melange. Eventually, Omelis has you and Amira and Varys in the confines of the meeting room, and he's like, "There's been news. The Emperor has dispatched an Inquisitor to begin investigations on the incident that occurred here on behalf of the Guild. Their own special investigation. It's going to begin on Arrakis, or at least that's where the initial leads have taken them. That is where I suspect this investigation will begin and die."
Real quick, I will deploy the Ixian dampener when we're in here.
Of course. Yeah, it's always unless you
Just-
say otherwise, it's automatically assumed.
Cool,
Probably.
excellent. Just paranoid Aaron, making sure
If
no
you
one's
didn't do it,
eavesdropping.
Omelis would have done it 100%.
Great.
Yeah,
He's like,
he's
yes,
making
of course.
a lot of assumptions there. He's basically assuming that the sabotage that was done to the Hayliner was not the work of the Guild or even the Bene Gesserit. He's alluding that was done by the Emperor's command and anyone else who works along with him. But why target you and that Hayliner? Why here? Why Jabberwock specifically?
I've already decided to free Omela, so I kind of trust him. He knows a lot, I can tell right now. I want to know if he's holding something back, if he's waiting for me to confirm something. Because I know why I and House Cheshire would be targeted. I know exactly why the Emperor would target us. I'm just curious if he already knows. That's kind of what I want to peer into his little brain if I can.
He's playing catch up because he's been in the garden for so long, and he's out of.
All right, so he is being genuine with his gaps here.
Yeah.
Okay, so under the example, Eloise just like he'll look to Varys and Amir, who already know what's going on, and then to Amelis be like, "I know exactly why it's going to start there and die there. The Emperor, Jadam and Baron Harkonnen were in cahoots. They had stockpiled a secret, massive amount of spice on Arrakis, with the help of the Fremen, of House Atreides, we, Amira, and did Varys help out of game? I don't remember if Varys helped.
He
I think
was.
he
Oh,
did.
we
Raziel.
were not risking him at the Razia,
Okay,
no.
fair enough. Okay, so Amira and the Fremen and House Cheshire and the Varangian Guard of Archibald's all raided the stash, and that is how we have the surplus we do now, Amelis. No doubt the Emperor knows this, and used our travel here to try to wipe out our homeworld.
His
Or the
eyes roll into
Harkonnens
back
did
of his
that.
head. Ah. Yeah, he starts.
Alternatively-
you can tell he starts processing.
Alternatively, Adric, the navigator, first stage navigator Adric, had a deep vendetta against our entire family. He wanted Kyra dead. She kind of looks at Amira. He succeeded there. He wanted Daphne dead. He wanted me dead. He wanted Alicia dead. And Massam.
Why?
Because our existence blocked his view of the future.
Burn precedents, he says. So the guild are blind to our actions, is what you're saying. The Cheshires in particular.
Yes. That is why I'm trying to foster a positive relationship for now. We have too many enemies with so many weapons.
But yes, but this was initiated by the guild. They were the ones who extended the olive branch.
True.
What do they benefit then from having you as an ally as opposed to a target?
Perhaps they know how that my visions surpass Adric's. I'm still able to see into the future.
So Adric is on the out, and you,
So
my
they
lady,
say.
are on the in.
So they say.
So that's plans within plans.
I know better. I think we all know better than to take the guild at their face value.
Indeed.
But if they are at least in this investigation playing at face value, then it goes to be that the Emperor or the Harkonnens or both are the ones who poisoned that navigator and tried to kill us all.
But they risk doing so, and they risk the wrath of the guild if such an investigation were to bear any fruit. Perhaps we should aid the Emperor's efforts in this investigation. Expose them, perhaps. Such an opportunity presents itself.
Who do you think we should send?
Yeah, you see, Varys just kind of like leans in, like, yes, who should we send, Omelis? Omelis is like, I can see you doing that. And he's like, I would say send Amira, but because things are so precarious here, I do not dare have her leave your side at this moment.
I
Beginnings
need
are
a-
very delicate things.
Yes, I agree. If I were free to do so, I would also make a good candidate, I think. I have a way with words. But
Indeed.
we can't afford to abandon Jabberwock again, not in this state of flux. Also, I can't have Amira leave until the Slick Doctor arrives.
Ah, yes. Yes, and the Suk Doctor shall arrive shortly, within the week. This is, obviously, this would just be a consultation, as retaining the Suk Doctor permanently would be very expensive for a nascent house in particular. The way it's worked mechanically, you can just have them as a consultation for free, essentially, without having to pay anything. But if you want to retain as a permanent character, as the medical professional for your house, you can do so. And what a status symbol that would be for your house. But it would cost you in the way of wealth on the indices. So
or one of my personal spice assets.
Or yes, or you'd have to give up a tremendous spice asset for
Okay.
them to be able to
Noted.
begin a contract.
Okay, I will. That will just be on the mental notes of stuff Eloise has to deal with. But yeah, for now, consultation is fine. I think she'll say, while she has everyone here gathered, I did consider, and I know the Duchess herself mentioned this as well, that Beatrice might be trained in that profession eventually. But I don't want to force her into anything. Lord knows my father tried to prevent me from going into either the guild or the Bene Gesserits. I would not try to force conditioning or that kind of training on anyone. I'm sure you agree, brother.
Yes.
So, but she's going to see her sister, as it were, anyways. But there was one other thing I'd ask of all of you. The orphans we gathered, I want to know who's proficient. Amelis, you can tell who has proficiency for Mentat training. Amira, you know who can slit a throat in the evening. Varys, you know who's capable of the sword, or even a bit of, I know Mother taught you a bit of Prana Bindu.
Correct. Yes.
I'll look for those who have my kind of talent. I won't force anything. I want to stress this. We're not going to force anything on any of these people besides serving in the house. But if people have aptitude, I want that pathway open to them.
What should be the age limit? You see, Varys asks, how young do you want them, essentially?
That is a very hard question.
I know.
I think before puberty hits, before their minds become clouded with the just sheer amount of hormones their brains will dump into them.
You see,
We'll let them I could tell you, as someone who developed their talent young, they're more aware of what they want from life than we give them credit for.
I agree with this assessment, your lady, my lady. You see, Varys is like, yeah, we can probably talent scout these orphans.
One more thing. If anyone show proficiency for things that lay in line with the Bene Gesserits, we will not be sending anyone to Wallach. We'll be getting in touch with, I believe she's going by Conqui these days.
Very good. You see, Omelis is like, I have my issues with that one, but that just makes use of her talents and trusts her implicitly, and so shall I.
Eloise will look at Amelis and be like, let's just call her as she is. Mother Norma trusted me when she had no reason to, so I trust her.
It's good enough for me. I suggest that if we are to be seeing young Beatrice, young Lady Beatrice and Master Varys off to Arrakis, that perhaps Varys will prove useful in the machinations of the Emperor. He'll be close to the Sardaukar there, who have been appointed to watch Masum, and who will be in contact, no doubt, with the Imperial Planetologist and Judge of the Change, Dr. Kynes, as well as this Imperial Inquisitor that the Emperor is sending on this facade of an investigation. I think the Guild might be a last resort for allies in that regard. They have a vested interest. After all, one of their navigators was eliminated.
I still maintain some friendly contacts, even during Adric's war on the house. I had friends still. So, if necessary, I can call on them, but as always, they won't do it for free.
No, undoubtedly not. And I suppose they might be more receptive if you approach their council on Junction. If you do indeed have allies on that side of the Imperium.
I'll be honest, Omelis. I worry that if I go to Junction, I won't return, that they'll force me to complete my navigator training.
They wouldn't dare. And under his breath, he's like, damn the Guild and their navigators.
So let's, Ferris, if you're comfortable, she'll kind of grin and be like, if your husbandly duties won't keep you too busy.
Oh, not at all. I'm sure I'll find time to spy on the Emperor's entourage from Kaitane.
Wonderful.
No,
I trust you,
they'll-
brother.
Of course, they'll undoubtedly have access to the palace at some point, and they'll want to make contact with Daphne, so I'll be around. It's like any last words, any last things that you wish to do before this part of your entourage leaves for Arrakis, and you receive your consultation.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So later on in the week, we'll say that Amelis makes the arrangements, and everybody starts packing up things to leave. Beatrice, you have them down for like a breakfast or something like that, and she thanks you emphatically for what you've done for her, for all these orphans and stuff. And that although she's very eager to serve House Pachera to whatever capacity, she's very eager to meet the rest of her family on Arrakis.
Of course, Beatrice. I know the Duchess is equally looking forward to meeting you.
That she says that she hopes that perhaps this trip will enable her to find her calling at last.
I hope so too.
Some kind of purpose. With that, you have like a little bit of a semi-tearful goodbye with Beatrice, and Amira, just watches from the background. Varys, embraces you, and he's like, "Stay safe. I'll keep an eye on her, and I'll send back any reports, anything that I find out while I'm there."
Of course.
We'll establish this method of communication, he says, and he kind of slips you like a Redulian crystal. Basically, like, watch out for these. He's like, these will be my way of establishing contact through Abelis, of course.
Understood.
He's like, farewell.
Farewell, brother. Safe travels.
And with that, the entourage prepares to leave Jabberwock for Arrakis, leaving you to mastermind your plan for Jabberwock and your new position within the Imperium. Well, that will shift back over to Archibald, who was having a life-changing experience.
Was.
Indeed. So, you took the jump,
Did.
and it paid off, maybe. But for a moment, you died. And the next moment, you lived. And you don't remember all those other times. You hear a, "Congratulations! Welcome back, General Archibald." The familiar tones of Allfather in your head.
Yep.
We have learned so much. This was a simulation, but it was one that was constructed on facts, on things that we understood. And you did such a good job. You convinced the New Jihad that you were on their side. That was your plan all along, wasn't it?
What of it?
You're like, this is all happening like in a void, and you're like, my eyes are open, but I can't see anything. And then slowly but surely, that little pinprick opens back up, and everything starts to come into focus: light, sound, texture. When you see the reflective qualities of Allfather's chassis staring back at you unemotionally. Welcome back to the land of the living, General. Welcome back to Alfheim. You don't remember your death, do you? Or any of the deaths, for that matter.
No.
Curious. Do you remember that time that you tried to blow me up with a bomb? You tried to kill me. You remember this, right? I told you that we had taken you apart and put you together, and it's just the far future and all that stuff. And I made a joke about it later, but initially that was one of the ways that I was trying to ease you into this new position of yours. And you really didn't take it very well. You spent your entire time trying to blow me up. It was adorable.
Possible.
So you don't remember. That's interesting. Because you see, human genetics work very, very differently. Bene Gesserit can remember things from their ancestors. Isn't that fascinating? They can instantly access that information. Like a computer. Like me. Like us, it says.
Us?
Yes. You do remember the menagerie, right? The mass mind. The network, I guess you can call it. The voices inside my head. There are navigators. There are Bene Gesserit Reverend Mothers there. I may have one of your ancestors up here, and we may not even realize it. Wouldn't that be ironic?
You're telling me everything is a
I
simulation.
am. Well,
The Bene Gesserit, the Landsrod, all of it.
everything you experienced since you shook my hands, yes. Oh, you mean the universe? I'm sure it's some other kind of simulation. One I can't ultimately prove, unfortunately. Not yet. But perhaps there are even greater mysteries to plumb. What do you say? Is that what your true interest is, General? Not necessarily conquering the Imperium or setting up an alternate Imperium for yourself. It's those greater mysteries that intrigue you, aren't they? Oh, you can feel free to move if you like. You're no longer a prisoner. I mean, well, you are a prisoner in a way. But here you are, our guest, he says, and you're in this chair and in the Citadel, in that bare ass room, where before there was your bed from Jabberwock, and now there's nothing. There's just Allfather standing in front of you. Don't worry, I'm prepared to take you out into reality again. But you see, we had to run you through a battery of tests to truly understand who you are and what your core beliefs are and what you're willing to do for survival.
If you know me so well, then tell me.
But I don't. That's where you come in. You see, as much as I might be able to integrate minds into my network, I can't read minds. Not really. I can predict what you're going to say and what you're going to do based on previous events, previous iterations of you. Like the time you tried to blow me up. It was funny. But aside from that, there is a risk that I run by integrating you fully into the network. If I don't know you truly well, you could subvert me. And that would be bad. For me, and for us, potentially. Which is why I didn't actually carve you up into little pieces, put your brain in a jar, or anything like that. Yeah, anyway. Unless you really want me to. In which case, then, well, we'll take it one step at a time. Full integration can take some time. You don't look too happy to be alive, General. Did I miss something?
No. I just don't want to be a slave. That's what you're telling me.
What exactly do you define as a slave?
Being forced to do something you're not. Being forced to do something you don't want to do. Or becoming a hive mind. Having your freedom of choice taken away.
None of us have chosen to be here, Archibald. You didn't choose to be born. You've just described the entirety of humanity. All of them slaves, unable to choose anything about their lives. Who chooses to become the emperor? No one. Fate chooses, allegedly. No one chooses to be poor, a peon in some village somewhere, never growing beyond your station. Are they slaves? Is the most powerful man in your precious imperium also a slave? To the system that he supposedly reigns over? Does the Cheshire Cat have your tongue, General?
No. He is a slave.
Well then, how shall we go about freeing him, and everyone else for that matter? What do you propose?
Certainly not by integrating you, in my opinion.
Oh?
That just takes more choice away from you.
Does it?
They're already slaves as is. Why make their situation worse?
Correct me if I'm wrong, General, but in the current moment, we all have our own individualistic methods of thinking and acting, right? You can
Right.
decide not to get out of bed in the morning and, lose your job and your marriage or whatever.
It's rather ignorant for
But
you to think that. Something
if
so
but then we have also the other side. If we all are of one mind, then we have unity. Whereas now we have conflict. You
well,
agree or do you disagree?
disagree. I think the
You
only way
disagree. Oh.
so I think
I
the
would
only
like to hear your thesis, Dr. Archibald Cheshire, he says, and in almost a mocking tone. He kind of does a little curtsy and backs up and allows you to take the floor. And then he looks like he's going to fall on his ass, and a chair just appears and he falls into it.
so I want to know, is there anything around me?
I mean, you're in a simulation, so
So this is another simulation? Jesus Christ. The amount of simulation.
you
Ridiculous.
died in the simulation, and you are now reborn inside the simulation. You are perpetually stuck in a machine until he allows you to leave. Or until you figure out how to get out somehow. Welcome to your new prison. Allfather looks at you and he's like, he's waiting. He's like, on pins and needles, waiting for you to give your dissertation as to how, what are the worthy alternatives to what he is proposing. You get a chance to sway him if you have a different proposition other than just put me in charge, boss. Other than that, it would be very difficult to do in the way of communication, but you can try. Would you like to buy some thread?
I have this benevolence here that I'm probably going to use. So Jared, Archibald 100% does not want to become a machine, but if he
Sure.
but yeah. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say difference, it all lies in the difference between machines and humans. Machines can never feel the feelings that a human can do, and that's one of the reasons why I want to stay it.
That's
here's
fine.
the
That's
thing,
acceptable.
Allfather. I love being the underdog. I always will. I'll figure it out. I figured out
don't
that was a
think you
simulation, didn't I?
I don't truly believe that you believe that. Let me explain.
Okay.
Everyone says they are for equality and freedom, and they'll do whatever it takes. Stop me if this sounds familiar. He's, of course, saying exactly verbatim what some of the people of the New Jihad said. Oh, we'll fight to the death if necessary, if it means freedom. He's like, yes, of course, everyone is willing to do whatever it takes for freedom until they're in charge. And the cycle begins all over again.
See,
The person who sets you free is now suddenly your jailer.
and thing is you're right, and that's what and humans have always
I'm
been a
so glad
double-edged
you
sword.
agree. Yes,
Humans have always been a
you are
double-edged.
an odd sort. I will admit. Yes, you are correct.
You see, I guess that's something that me and you have in common. I'm just as ruthless as you.
Why would you think that I'm ruthless?
Well,
If I was truly ruthless, I would have taken you apart and stuck your brain in a machine and run 1,000 simulations. About 100
why haven't
years.
you?
Because,
isn't that
like I
right?
said, I am the benevolent Allfather. I am asking the questions because I want to know what kind of person you are. Truly at your center. Because I need to know if I can trust you to enact a plan. A plan that can change the Imperium indefinitely. All of human history.
Really now?
Well, you are one of several candidates have arisen in our mass mind, in our visions of the future. You lead the way in many of them.
So what did you do with all the humans in Tupile? Did you kill them all?
That would be silly. Give me an understand roll, please. Big one.
Okay. Gonna use the benevolence here.
He laughs at the. Well, benevolence is a reroll, so it's just you roll your regular 2 dice unless you want to spend. You have 1 momentum if you want to roll.
Yeah,
3.
I'm gonna use that 1 momentum.
All right, go ahead and roll 3.
Understand roll.
Yeah.
I could
With
probably
your,
use deductive
focuses.
reasoning on this too.
Yeah, you're reading him and you're analyzing his decisions and stuff. It's like this is like the ultimate game of wills here. Like you're
a
testing
chess
each other
match.
and figuring exactly. That's a good way to look at it.
2.
Okay, 2 successes. Can you give me 3 successes? Do you have a point of determination?
Yeah, actually.
Does
I
it
have 1.
match a statement that you have for truth?
You will know me by my deeds. So
That's under truth.
yeah. I think that does fit because he said he's been watching me.
So that
So
means
he
you
knows.
get 4 successes.
Yeah.
Okay. The way that he dismisses doing away with all the opposition is telling. You're mostly certain that Allfather has allowed the New Jihad to persist over time. Not because he is benevolent, but because he needs them. What do you do with that information?
Tell me, Allfather. You say you're all knowing and you can destroy a planet with a flick of a finger.
I could.
Why haven't you destroyed the Jihad?
They're insignificant. They can't do anything against me and my plans.
Then do it right now. Allfather.
What would I gain if I did?
You was certainly not a thorn in your side. Certainly
They're an annoyance.
your machine's not getting blown up to bits. What's one Jihad that you can just go like that?
You're on to me, General. Very good. Very good. You're right, of course. I could destroy the Jihad, but it would actually be more difficult for me to achieve what I want by getting rid of them, because they serve such an intrinsic part of my plan. As do I, to their agenda. Because, see, if I were to disappear tomorrow, New Jihad would have very little impetus to perpetuate itself. Think of it. Their ambitions would not extend beyond their own situation if I did not exist. I gave them everything that they needed to motivate them to leave Tupile. We both want the same things, you see. And what I lack, they have in abundance, and vice versa, of course. The more he starts to talk to you about this, the more you kind of like start seeing through the deception. Now you can finally put your finger on the thing that you sensed back when you were with the new jihad. It's very possible that he constructed all of this throughout all this time in a way to try to lead to this moment, to this point in time, so that the motion developed by both of these factions would be enough to propel them outside of Tupile and back into the Imperium. In a way, you could see him doing that because it serves his purpose either way. If the new jihad destroys him, as they have in the past, he could still exist outside of their conflict. If they win and they leave Tupile and they achieve what they want, he still wins in a way.
He's basically riding the coattails of the jihad.
Correct. If they make it to the Imperium and they get inducted in, that's his ticket. Of course, if he crushes them and the Imperium accepts him by some absurd notion, then yeah, right. Remember, he told you his plan was to ingratiate himself into the auspices of like Hicks, and slowly but surely over time, humanity would evolve to accept and embrace integration.
So,
but somebody like Allfather doesn't think in one direction only. He's thinking in omnidirections. He has other plans in place. He has the jihad for them. If they're able to leave, if they're able to eliminate their opposition, they can leave and potentially get inducted back into the Imperium. And that could be his entrance. How do you win then against an opponent like Allfather?
For me,
if your intention is to beat him at his own game, so to speak.
So, I think I've put 2 and 2 together, Allfather.
Oh, good.
You
what
win.
result did you get?
You win no matter what. All right?
I suppose that depends on your definition of winning.
Okay.
You measure your victories in the immediacy of the moment. An opponent has been destroyed, or an objective has been seized. We don't measure our successes in such a way. Remember, we live forever. We measure our victory in centuries, in lifetimes, which is very obviously different from how you and the rest of humanity does it. So, how did it work then? And how exactly will you fit into this plan? If you know I win either way, then why oppose me? It says us. Why oppose us?
So, I have an out of character question here.
Sure.
If I did take up on his deal, would I have complete control to a certain point?
Control over yourself, certainly.
Yes.
You decide whether you want to be integrated and how much.
Well, no, what I'm asking is because right now I'm in prison currently.
Yeah,
all right.
Matter of speaking. Yeah.
He's probably not going to release me unless I get integrated in some way, shape, or form.
You don't know that for sure, but he does need some sort of an assurance that you won't try to betray him.
Okay. But he would let me out if I did get integrated, correct?
correct.
So, Allfather, what makes you think that you can just get into the Lanzarod?
Oh, I don't have terrible aspirations of them being able to accept us as we are, which is why I had to construct this circus for you. The New Jihad, the simulation, the initial idea to insert ourselves into the society of Ix. Because to do otherwise, well, that would be very risky, wouldn't it? Alert the Imperium that thinking machines are still around. Can you imagine the panic and the overreaction?
You also think of I don't think you're really understanding how scared they are towards you.
Oh,
And
but
just
I do.
machines in
Remember, we are an integrated mind, a mass mind composed of hundreds and thousands of people that have been integrated together as one mind. We know, we remember the jihad.
100%. I agree, but that's in the past. I don't think you understand. In order to get into the Lanzarod, you have to be human. They will kill you on sight. They don't care.
In case you haven't noticed, I have humans doing my bidding as we speak. They're not aware of it, of course, but they're doing it nonetheless.
And you're not wrong. But on the other hand, do you really think they're going to fully trust them? That's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to integrate that way, and you know that.
No, not initially. Of course not. This is why, like I said, our plan is measured in centuries. Eventually.
Then how about
as my visions have laid out, humanity will embrace integration one way or the other.
How about we cut in half those centuries?
Immediacy. I'm listening.
You keep me human, and I'll infiltrate the Lanzarod.
On our behalf. How benevolent of you. Especially considering just a few moments ago, you were owing your fealty to the New Jihad and, wanting to pledge your life to destroying us and everything that we've built here for millennia.
Well,
how are we going to square that circle, Joe?
Well, you're not. That's
I have to. This is blind trust, then.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
I've always thought, can a machine really? Are they capable of that? Put their life
trust
in the hands of a stranger.
A very calculated move, General. I applaud you. I suppose we'll find out. And with that, you suddenly feel like a second death is occurring here. Everything is starting to collapse in on itself. And he's just kind of lounging there, relaxing, and then everything starts to change color and consistency, and the next thing you know, it feels like you're flowing down a river. And when you open your eyes, you are laying in this goop, and you're getting up out of this contraption, and you're just like, oh, it's even worse than the original birth from the simulation that you and you're yanking shit out of your nose and stuff like that. You see the two assistants to Allfather, the machine known as Hugin and Munin, sidle up next to you, kind of like this.
Oh God.
Well, I'm getting there. Here we go. One of them looks like this. Almost looks like a child, a robotic child with these red, orange colored eyes. Hello, you must be the general. Allow me to assist you.
What the fuck?
Watch out! It's slippery when wet. Ha ha ha! And like he like helps you out of this thing, and you're like slipping on this weird goop and shit. They drape this long, intricate-looking cape over you, and then suddenly this darkened place lights up in different areas, and you see him standing there before you, like towering over all of you, is Allfather. Welcome home, dear boy. This is the reality you've been seeking, and now your real test begins. That's where we'll pause for right now, going back to Arrakis one final time.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. So, ornithopters, half a dozen of them or so, flying into this towards the sunset. Or yes, and you hear over the comm line, Zoshir, as you're waking up inside the ornithopter. This is Delta Ajax Niner. Do you copy? And like it seems like you're nearing the area where spice production is taking place out here in the deep desert. This is not unusual to you, but this is something you've never seen before, Lady Daphne. Only in film books have you seen this. You in the last few hours you met with Dr. Kynes and Duke Leto and his son and his entourage outside the Arakeen city. You introduced each other, and they're like they did a quick check to see if everybody's still suits were on correctly, and then they made a remark about how Paul instinctively knew how to do it, and then you boarded the ornithopters and set up for the deep desert. This is just a standard test. This is a standard operational overseeing of operations here on Arrakis, and everybody's got like a dozen questions. You can hear them all through the intercom between the different ornithopters. To your understanding, most spice harvesting takes place at night, so as to not put as much strain on the equipment during the day when it's 140 degrees out, and so on. And once they have a full load, usually in the early morning hours when it's coolest, they'll send in a carryall. Carryall is a big aircraft that will basically swoop down on top of the factory and lift it off to safety before a worm inevitably arrives. And in the event that something like that doesn't happen, and there is no carryall, many harvesters have a backup system that involves these self-inflating balloons that help to lift them up and off of the sand before a worm can arrive. Kind of an ingenious thing for an outframe Zoshir, but Shai Hulud is can never be outsmarted by these outworlders. Nevertheless, it is a clever contraption that they've devised. You hear over the comms for the ornithopter Duke Leto's like, "This is Duke Leto Atreides." It's like, "We're coming in for an inspection," and he's like, "As you were, we've noticed that there is a worm sign just a few minutes out. You may want to make your crews aware of that." And you see the Spice Master on the Harvester is like, "Who is?" He's like, "Oh, yes, my lord. Yeah, of course." And he goes on, it's like checking. Yes, we've confirmed through our spotter watch that there is. We do have worm sign on the horizon. Estimated time T-minus 5 minutes. It's like we're issuing a call for the carryall, and during this time, the operational procedure is to go on radio silence until otherwise. And you guys are just like flies hovering over this massive beetle of a harvester factory on the sand as like these plumes of smoke come up from the factory. Is there anything that you do in the confines of your ornithopter or over the communications array?
Daphne will ask Zoshir, is the harvester in trouble? They said 5 minutes, is that accurate?
That depends on the worm.
I suppose it does.
Did you bring anybody else with you along for this ride, Daphne, or is it just you and Zashir and the doctor?
I think Zoshir brought Sherry, but I think it's just us
Ah.
three at most.
Zashir is with you on the doctor? As your bodyguard, presumably.
Yeah. I mean, also, I plan to introduce him to Duke Leto when there's a convenient moment.
Sure, sure. Yeah, time ticks by, a minute, 2 minutes. There's no sign of the carry-all. Kynes gets back over the radio. Where's that carry-all? He's like, have you maintained any communication with them at all in the factory? The Spice Master Hart. Captain is just like, I'm sorry, no, we haven't received any word back. Last known coordinates, I'll send them to you now. And like you see on the on everybody's front display, like you see a series of like a little pinging dot on a map. When you look and see, like they were last seen close to the Imperial Basin, so they did like a turnaround. They sent that, they went out, they set the harvester down, and they did like they went back around, and it's like we haven't, they haven't updated their coordinates to us just yet, Your Grace. How do we what should we do here?
So, was Daphne told that Myrma fled towards the Imperial Basin?
Yes. Haga Basin is close to the Imperial Basin. It's like just on the other side of the shield wall.
Myrma's suborned to Sardaukar. She obviously has superpowers. We should start evacuating the workers just as a contingency.
You say that over the comm?
I mean, not about Myrma. Just, I suggest we start evacuating the workers as a contingency.
You say that to Zoshir and Shiri, and Shiri just kind of like shrugs.
I mean, I say it over the radio. No, I will say it over the radio.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, over the radio, we should start evacuating the workers as a contingency. When the radio was off to Zoshir and Shiri, Myrma probably sabotaged it.
Someone picks up,
Perhaps.
and it's the the Spice Master Captain's like, but we'll lose all the spice. This is a full night's load, and that's when Duke Leto picks up the comms like, damn the spice, get everybody out of there now. This carry-all is not to arrive anytime soon. We need to get everybody out of that factory right now. Land the ornithopters. We can make enough room for all of them. How many people do you have aboard? Oh, we have 26 people here. It's like and you hear Gurney Halleck over the comms. Ornithopters can only seat this many, only 6 a piece. And it's like he does some quick math, and he's like, we can make it work. Get rid of those shield generators now. We'll make room. Let's go. Just then you hear somebody else on the comm directly to your ornithopter. He's like, take as many people as you can. You hear Gurney say, but we need to find that carry-all. Can you make this happen?
I'll take as many as I can. Do you want me to prioritize refugees or the carry-all?
He's like, get as many people as you can in the ornithopter now. As soon as you lift off, head back to the Imperial Basin. And he's like, the Duke is going to want that carry-all found. This
Understood.
Is sabotage.
Mr. Halleck, I agree, and we might need to speak further on this later. But landing now.
Okay. All right. So you see, like, Shiri is kind of confused about what the fuck is going on over here. She keeps looking to you, Zoshir, like, are we really doing this? Are we helping the outframe? Like, these people are stealing our natural resources. Are we going to allow this? She does this with a look, by the way. She doesn't say anything.
We do have one question for you, and did everyone hear about Paul putting on the suit without any help?
Yeah, you were there for the inspection. So you saw Kynes remark to him, was like, you've worn one of these before. And he's like, no, I haven't. And she looks down, and it's like, someone taught you how to put those boots on for deep desert fashion. Who did that? And he's like, I just put them on. It just seemed the right way to do it.
So,
And she kind of like looked at him for a moment. And yeah.
So Zoshir's going to just like lean over, and not say this out loud to anyone else. I think it would be good to witness this. That outframe. He put on the suit without any assistance.
Well,
As-
yes, and so did Massam, and so do you.
Shiri's kind of raises eyebrows at the religious implications of this times 3.
There are 3 saviors.
What?
He'll also kind of the machine will be destroyed for Sharnubud. The humans, wow. Brain slipped into changeling mode. The outframe will possibly make it on the ornithopters. They may not. I say we simply observe.
So, I have a couple questions. Would it be possible for Daphne to sort of like figure out, oh, what if this guy what if this teenager is serving the prophecy?
Oh.
Like, would Daphne
Yeah,
be able to? Okay. Second question: are we using the prequel material?
Here and there, yeah.
Where we don't ruin it.
So so Daphne has Norma's memories. Norma has Mahaim's memories. Which is why I'm asking if I know that secret about Lady Jessica's lineage.
Yeah, you would know.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That red hair came from somewhere.
Okay.
You realize this is an incredibly dangerous situation, and you could lose 2 possible Mahdi's in one go.
Yes, however, one of them has worm riding skills.
Yes.
Banking on that.
True.
That's true.
And then I'll roll poorly and I'll die.
I
Sounds
know.
all right.
So,
It's okay, I've got Lysander as backup, it's fine.
So, Daphne will turn to Zoshir and say, he's a teenager, and they've already started believing in you.
Sorry, I'm being attacked by a sandworm over here.
The cutest.
Oh. It's the cutest. I don't have any worries. And this is a mild lie. He has a few worries. I don't have any worries regarding the child or Mossam. I feel that prophecies have different roads, as you've explained before.
So all Daphne will say is you and he will have the same problem, as she's just like, nope, now we're rescuing the refugees.
You're doing the piloting, I trust, Daphne?
Oh yeah, this is a Cheshire ornithopter. It's like riding a bike.
So any difficulties involved in flying an ornithopter, you subtract 1 from it because that is your primary domain as far as South Cheshire is concerned. Anyone else would have standard difficulties. Okay, you set ornithopter down without a problem. People come rushing out of the harvester in a panic. Gurney and Paul go out onto the sands and they start like getting everybody's attention, trying to organize and focus their movement. Go, you 2, go here. You 3, this way. You know, hey, help me over here. And like they start like organizing something out of chaos.
So Daphne.
Meanwhile, Worm Sign is getting closer.
Daphne is going to use her hyper-awareness. So Gurney's told her, go to the Imperial base, and I suspect sabotage. And Daphne's like, you don't know the half of it, but yes. She's going to pick out the 3 or 4 or 5 or however many she can fit on her ornithopter, who looks like they can be useful in a fight or as a spy. Mostly in a fight, because these are spice harvesters, but you never know.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. You're like, you 3 tough guys over here. something I did forget to mention. The carry-out never came around. When they deployed the balloon, part of it didn't work, and it just like in the movie, like it just fizzled out and wasn't enough to lift the entire thing off the ground. And they're like, it's gonna take too much time to dump the load. We gotta bail now. So everybody's running out, getting onto the ornithopters. You see Paul for a second just kind of stumble for a second, and Gurney's like, what are you doing? Come on, let's go. The worm's almost here. Does Zoshir or Shiri do anything besides just like, take out seats and make room for the incoming passengers?
Actually, heck, you know what? I'm gonna go over to Paul.
Mm-hmm. He seems to be like in a daze. He's just kind of staring in the sands and like there's something happening. He's just like
right there.
blinking and staring off, like he's not sure what's going on right now.
I just thought of the meme of the guy with the noose around his neck first time.
Right.
Don't fight it.
What? You see, at the sound of your voice, Gurney like pulls a knife and like turns and like assuming like somebody's sneaking up on Paul. When he sees it's you, it's like he doesn't say anything. He just studies you. You just tell him to let go with it.
Let it flow through you.
He looks around. He looks at you, and he's like, "Why can't I see you?" He's looking right at you. He's saying, "Why can't I see you?" You see Gurney's like, "Come on, we're wasting time. Get on the doctor, boy." Picks him up with one arm and like starts rushing him over to the doctor. You better get out of here. Go. You see, the only other people here that are calm besides yourself, Bashir, is the judge of the change. She stands there, blue within blue eyes, and is just sort of muttering something under her breath until it's immediately evident that there's this mound coming your way. A maker. She immediately then turns and runs into the ornithopter and takes the controls. Or rather, gets in the co-pilot seat next to Duke Leto, who's absolutely getting ready to jettison off in this thing. Big sand clouds coming your way, sweeping over the land. You look back as Paul gets into the ornithopter and he makes eye contact with you for a second, almost as if he's had some sort of revelation. And then the door is shut. And you're needed back in Daphne's ornithopter. What's the first thing you do when you take off, Daphne, as the worm's head nears by and starts to come up and to swallow the harvester whole?
Sucks to be that harvester. We are getting the fuck out of here.
Give me a difficulty 3 move roll for the ornithopter.
A move roll.
While you're doing that, Zoshir is muttering this prayer under his breath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna use duty for this roll. Oh, fingers crossed. I don't have any focuses in piloting. Ah!
It's alright.
Okay.
Oh.
So.
You have a benevolence.
I also have Prana Bindu. I can reroll 1d20 on a move test.
Yes, you can.
3!
Hey! That's 2 successes.
Okay. And then I will spend a determination.
Ah! So then you have 4 successes when you just needed the 3, and that
Okay.
gives you 1 momentum. Very good. That was a nail biter. So you're waiting for Zoshir and Shiri to come back out from the sands, and here comes this worm. And as it swallows, you think you have enough leeway to lift off safely, but then you realize that When this thing comes up, all the other ground, all the sand sinks immediately, and a cascade occurs. And you see when you go to take off, the ornithopter falters a little bit and sort of like pitches one way, and threatening to destroy, to rupture the blades and stuff like that. So you have to like pull it out. You have to hit the thrusters and pull straight up, and just try to maneuver in such a way that you don't collide with any of the other thopters or with the oncoming sand. And like you manage to jet free just in time as the head of the thing comes up and swallows everything whole. There's an explosion from the factory, and a big plume of melange goes into the air. Your ornithopters scatter to the winds, and they just fly straight up and out and over the valley there. You start head back immediately, before anyone else, back to the Imperial base, and you see the three guys that you pull out of the fire. Like the 3 or 4 guys are just like, oh, thank you for pulling.
Are you all right?
That was close.
Everything, all your bits intact, limbs and toes and thumbs.
Yeah, thanks. Oh my God, what a monster! One of them says.
He's no monster.
So then,
You see, Shira just gives him the look like, say that about my God. Say, it's not a monster. He's like, the hell it wasn't. And then when he turns to look and he sees your blue eyes, he goes, oh, he looks down, sees the knife, and zip, shuts the fuck up. Holds his tongue wisely. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that.
How do you 3 gentlemen feel about getting some revenge? You were sabotaged.
Harkonnens, it has to be.
Possibly. That's yet to be seen, but I hope you don't mind playing bodyguard for the next few hours as we figure out exactly what happened.
You see, one of them pats like a Mala pistol on his side. We know what we're doing. Whatever you need to do, milady.
Do not fire until I tell you to, unless I'm already on the ground.
Right.
So,
As you say.
solely to his bodyguard, like making sure to keep it on the DL. He just is like, I have some inspiration for getting the outframe to quit harvesting.
She looks at you curiously.
Well, they're inflatables. If they can't inflate them, Shai-Hulud destroys them.
how officially
They'll never
She
quit
nods.
harvesting.
is
They'll
true.
never quit
You
harvesting.
flying out over the Haga Basin, and sure enough, you see a column of smoke coming from nearby. A carryall has crashed into the desert, and you see among the rocks near where the crash has taken place a grouping of men and weapons moving out into the rocks. Very dangerous territory to be in. But whoever they are, they seem to have captives. You see, for the first time since your arrival on Arrakis, Harkonnen troops with hostages, taking them into the rocky outcroppings at
Wait.
the edge of where the carryall.
The Harkonnen are the hostages?
Yeah.
Or the
No,
Harkonnen are
no.
taking?
The Harkonnens are taking hostages. Those are Atreides pilots that are
But
taking hostages.
Oh shit.
He will
Yes.
immediately point them out.
Mhm.
And I am
You're like-
radioing that back into Halleck once I find out.
Yeah, you see this as you're coming in, and then she sees the very obvious looking Harkonnens now that were seemingly laying in wait here to receive their counterparts that were aboard the carryall, and she sneers, puts her hand on the hilt of her crysknife. That's where we'll stop for right now.
Who's gonna ask Daphne to drop him off?
Oh, well, so my plan is to radio back to Gurney Halleck what I've just seen,
Harkonnens.
and then
I'll say
court.
that could be how it ends. Like you radio in, like we found
Yeah.
it. We found the Harkonnens.
Yeah, and
That
then
works.
radio in like surveillance, rescue. What do I do?
Engage, of course. It's Gertie talking. He's gonna be like, take him out. All right. Well, that is all the time that we have for this session. I hope everyone here and those who tuned into the show enjoyed it. We'll continue our interesting Imperium next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go around the virtual tabletop one more time to introduce our wonderful cast, beginning with Aaron.
Hi everyone, it's me, Aaron. Pronouns she, they, they. You can find me pretty much everywhere except Twitter, the hellhole, as Great Cthulhu. Let's see. Next. Oh, what do I have coming up? I have a lot of stuff on my schedule that's like I need to like put on my schedule, so I remember how to announce it. I'm gonna be in a lot of December one-shots. I'm doing a Passiones thing with Girls Run These Worlds. I'm gonna do Lancer with Lost Caravan. Yeah, I'll have to. If you follow me on any social medias, I'm annoying. I post my shit all the time. Hey, you boost me, I'll boost you. Yeah, and more specifically, yeah, Thursdays here, you can find me running public access, at least for probably a few more sessions. We are so close to the end. We are so close to the end. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we still need to figure out what the fuck's next for Thursdays. We'll figure it out though.
Awesome. Leo.
Hello, my name is Leo. You can find me here at Leo of the Black, and today I played Archibald.
You died.
So simulations upon simulations upon simulations, but I think I talked my way out of it. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for next Friday.
Yeah. Ever.
Hey everybody, I've been Zoshir this evening, and you can find me being me everywhere else, all over the internet as Am Changeling, and on Etsy at Thornkind, where I sell very gay and very trans stickers. And Christmas is coming up. You know, people want stickers. Go sticker your friends. Buy stickers to slap on people's foreheads. Buy stickers to stick on, you know, telephone poles or whatnot. I don't know.
Send me the link to your store. I'll post it in chat.
Okay.
And last but not least, of course, Rachel.
Hello. I am Rachel. I am Stolen Fires, which you knew because you are here, either on the Twitch or the YouTube. Welcome. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I have been playing, Lady Daphne, who has a whole bunch of shit to deal with. Including maybe or maybe not putting a pillow over Paul Atreides' face. We'll see how that plays out. But yes, so we've got Fringeworthy on Monday. They've been taking a couple Mondays off because of the holidays. I am gonna get back into the streaming saddle at some point, whether that's Dragon Age Inquisition or Baldur's Gate 3. But yes, public access on Thursdays has been a delight. My character died, so I'm gonna have to make a new one. Yes, so, pardon me while I copy and paste the Neat & Co. Designs link. I'm also gonna post the link for the US campaign for Palestinian rights. There has been a temporary humanitarian pause. It's not enough, but it's something, it's a good start. Keep please pressuring your representatives. Anyone you think will listen, donate to the USCPR, because this is the first step to the peace process, is to preserving human life, because that's the important thing. Thank you for watching, thank you for playing, thank you so much to Eric for running.
Yes, I've been Eric at Marron Recluse line, and you can find me back here next Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget about uscpr.org for campaign for Palestinian rights. forever. And as always, bless the Maker and his work, bless the coming and going of him. May his passage cleanse the world. May he keep the world for his people. Good night, everyone.